A man just casually complained about a goddess, and suddenly found himself transported to another world. She even placed a curse on him. Faced with hordes of monsters before him, what should he do? Just yesterday, a group of students were summoned to this world by the goddess. Welcome, chosen heroes, to your arrival. The evil demon lord is about to revive, and this world is faced with impending disaster. For this, I need the heroes' help. But the students found everything before them hard to believe. They had many questions to ask. At this moment, one student took the initiative to ask, do levels, skills, status windows and monsters exist like in games? The goddess gave an affirmative answer. Then came questions from other students, which the goddess answered one by one. Through these answers, they learned that each person was given different powers, and only by passing relevant trials and receiving their blessings could they become true heroes. And currently, contact with the outside world was impossible. Only by defeating the demon lord could one wish be granted. Does anyone else have questions? A man slowly raised his left hand. Please send me back to Earth. I believe I mentioned that only by defeating the demon lord can your wish be granted. But I don't want to save this other world because I don't want to be a hero. But this world is faced with disaster. Countless lives will meet a tragic end. Don't you have even a hint of compassion? Sorry, but I can't make my family worry about me. Then the goddess stepped forward and asked was anyone else didn't want to be a hero to step forward. I won't force your choice. However, only this one man wanted to return. Mr. Kang Han-soo, it seems this place isn't suitable for you. I will send you back to Earth. Looking at the bright portal before him, the man resolutely walked in. But when he opened his eyes, he found himself in a forest. Then came a sound from behind. The man turned to look, only to see hordes of monsters before his eyes. The man was stunned. What the hell was this? Damn goddess, this isn't Earth at all. Meanwhile, a holy light descended in the center of the sanctuary. The students had all been transported to the other world, and they were about to face the trials of the gods. At the same time, monsters were relentlessly pursuing the man. Damn goddess, she never intended to send me back from the start. If this really was another world, perhaps some miracle would occur. Just then, a message appeared. Kang Han-soo, level 1, no blessings, currently curse. Curse, race language, hero's words will be transformed into monster language. Experience gains and achievements greatly reduced. Damn, she actually cursed my level up window. The man just sweet-talked a few words to a god, and unexpectedly received a blessing from the god. Even if severely injured, status could be instantly reset. And at this moment, looking at the level up window before him, he realized the goddess had tampered with him, and faced with the monster's relentless pursuit, he was already physically and mentally exhausted. This was all that damn goddess's fault. Just then, an arrow struck him. The man was shocked to see. It was a group of elves. What was going on? Then wolf folk came forward to confront them. So the man seized this opportunity to escape. Moments later, the man hid behind a tree. Should I pray to the gods? This is all the goddess's fault. Even if I die, I won't pray to such a god. Just then, a message appeared. A certain god is watching you. Although he didn't know what was before him, the man still pleaded for help. The god responded by asking why he was alone. Faced with the god's question, the man was about to answer it was all that damn goddess who sent him here. But on second thought, what if the god before him was in league with the goddess? So the man asked the god before him to save him first, but was rejected by the god, who stated gods don't help strangers. Are gods all outsiders? The god curiously asked what outsider meant. Since outsider wasn't exactly a good word, the man didn't seriously explain its meaning, because he feared receiving another strange curse. He explained to the god that an outsider refers to a lone wolf crossing the wilderness. Hearing this, the god expressed great fondness for this term. Only then did the man breathe a sigh of relief, having successfully glossed over it. Then the man again pleaded for the god to save him, but the god curiously asked if he was an outsider either. The man gave an affirmative answer. At this moment, the god was contemplating whether to help an outsider. The god slowly raised their left hand. The god decided to help the poor outsider. Then a divine light descended. The man's pain instantly vanished. It seems they really were gods. Looking at the healthy man, the god was very proud of it. Looking at his status window, a new outsider's blessing had been added. All status effects except death would be reset. If I'm no longer an outsider but an insider, would the gods still help me? But the gods stated they would only help outsiders. At this moment, the wolf pack discovered them. The man immediately began to flee. With the god's blessing, not only was damage reset, but even physical fatigue was eliminated. The man instantly felt the god's power was truly amazing. But the god reminded him, you'll merely not die from severe injury. Meanwhile, the man ran to a cliff edge. The god reminded him, if you jump from here, you will certainly die. But faced with a pack of wolves behind him, what should he do? The man simply jumped off the 1,000-foot cliff, and unexpectedly killed hundreds of werewolves as a result. And at this moment, faced with the wolf pack behind him, the man had a bold idea. Listen up, all you monsters. Whoever catches me first, gets to keep me. Hearing this, the wolf pack rushed to attack him competitively. So the man followed through with his plan, taking all the wolf folk with him as he jumped off the cliff, which made a huge crash. Moments later, the man opened his eyes again. I'm actually still alive. It seems the god's blessing had taken effect. These wolf folk weren't so tough after all. At this moment, a figure caught the man's attention. There was still one wolf alive. Then the man checked its status. Blue Moon Butcher, level 3. Even a higher level than me. If I kill it, wouldn't I gain lots of experience? Sorry, but you'll become my experience. Meanwhile, the students were receiving relevant information about the other world. Levels and blessings could greatly improve one's strength. Receiving blessings didn't mean the end. The gods were watching at all times. Just then a student asked, "Are all actions watched by the gods?" The oracle goddess gave an affirmative answer. But they weren't human, so please don't judge the gods by human standards. Then various gods expressed their own views. So would the gods give better blessings to more interesting people? At this moment, 2 gods expressed agreement with Zhang Meiyan's idea. She then received a blessing from the gods. Charm, body will emit an enchanting fragrance. Chance of gaining dominant position will increase. In an instant, all the men were captivated by her. At this moment, the goddess gestured for her to stop using the blessing. But before she could finish speaking, Zhang Meiyan received a curse punishment from the gods, because a certain pure goddess disliked such impure behavior. Then the goddess explained that gods would bestow blessings on those they liked and curses on those they disliked. So one must always be mindful of their behavior. Then the goddess gave her a slap on her behind. In an instant she felt immense pain. And the pain she received would double damage and criticism effects. Remember, once you receive a blessing or curse, it will accompany you until death, and as your level increases, its effects will become more prominent. Isn't that terrible? Even an F-rank punishment hurts this much. Don't be afraid, because curses can be offset by blessings. On the other side, the man was puzzled why his level hadn't increased. Looking at the monsters everywhere, could it be because of that curse? Then the man asked the god if there was any useful information. The gods gave a negative answer. Scene changes to them encountering the wolf folk again. At this moment the god hoped he could die peacefully. Meanwhile, the wolf pack seemed to smell the scent of blood. Come on, damn monsters. The man simply used basic centrifugal force, and instantly wiped out the entire wolf pack. At this moment, the werewolves seemed to smell the blood permeating the air, searching for the source of the scent, while the man silently observed all this from the side, looking at the newly acquired knife. The man was no longer afraid of any monster. Then the man picked up a rope from the ground, made himself a simple knife sheath. Have you heard of centrifugal force? The man continuously swung the stone in his hand as he slowly walked into the werewolf's field of vision, although each swing caused damage to himself. Thankfully the god's blessing took effect. I think I know how to use the god's blessing now. As long as I can avoid immediate death, I am invincible. In other words, I can keep fighting on the edge of death. At this moment a stone hit the man's head. Instantly the wolf pack swarmed forward, but the next second they received a heavy blow. In moments all the werewolves were knocked to the ground. Even the god gave the man high praise. At this time one werewolf still survived. Tell me where the humans live. If you dare lie to me you will be hurt. Looking at such a fierce human, the werewolf immediately confessed everything they knew. Then the man raised his hand and gave them a heavy blow to the head. I promised not to hurt you, but I never said I'd spare you. Having killed so many monsters, why had his level still not increased? Meanwhile, the teachers announced training would begin tomorrow. I'm in charge of swordplay. Aina beside me handles magic. You can choose areas that interest you. At this moment a man asked if they could learn multiple areas. The teacher gave an affirmative answer. Then can I skip learning and explore freely? The teacher also gave an affirmative answer to this. At this moment a certain immature chief god became interested. In the evening, Han-yu sat at his bedside. Nothing can be learned from trainee. Only protagonists have their own methods. The next day he found he had received a blessing from the god. Special, you are the most special protagonist in this world. The man seemed to have discovered how to increase his strength. He slowly walked out of the temple. I can at least grow to become a level 1 hero. Scene changes to the man arriving at a guild. He immediately stated he wanted to register as a hunter, but was mocked by a woman nearby. You're just a newbie, better go ho. At this moment Han-yu thought it was the effect of the god's blessing, so he retorted. You can't judge someone's strength just by appearances. You make mistakes sometimes as well, right? After his speech, the woman agreed with his point. At this moment, the man was fantasizing about becoming the protagonist. I am this world's hero. A certain immature god laughed. On the other side, the werewolves were begging pitifully, hoping the man would spare them. The man casually killed the Wolf King, and unexpectedly suffered betrayal from teammates, and was killed on the spot. At this moment the werewolf was stuttering. The human village is to the west. Then immediately suffered a fatal blow from the man. I'm very grateful for your information. Didn't expect you to be unexpectedly honest. Although he didn't know how far it was, at least he had a goal to move forward. Thinking back on his journey from prey to hunter, could this be the so-called hidden talent? Of course, this was also thanks to the blessing from the gods. At this moment, the god apologized for what was said before. You mean about wanting me to die? The god stated they actually didn't care what happened. Meanwhile, a werewolf charged at the man head-on. The man dispatched it with one swift knife stroke. Then 2 more werewolves came. The man dealt with them with one smooth motion. But strangely, his level still remained at 1. What could be the reason? At this moment, intense arguing caught the man's attention. The man looked up. It was 3 humans arguing. But the next second an arrow came flying at the man. Damn, didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. But with the language barrier, what could he do? So the man made a bold decision. He knelt still before them, indicating he had no ill intentions. Although they might not understand my language, they should understand my body language. The woman raised her bow and aimed at him. Wait, I'm a good person. Scene changes to them arriving at a cliff, looking at the smoke slowly rising in the distance. It seems the otherworld life I yearned for is about to begin. Meanwhile, a group of werewolves suddenly attacked them, but were quickly eliminated. Then the Wolf King stood still and attacked the archer, but was easily blocked by the man. Then a power strike came. The man instantly dodged, stabbed a knife into the Wolf King's neck. The Wolf King died. If not for you, all I would have been in trouble. But the next second an arrow pierced through the man's chest. This damn otherworld. He almost ruined the plan. If not for the Wolf King's appearance, we wouldn't have known how dangerous he was. Though only level 1, he dealt with the Wolf King with ease. If we let him live, it would ruin our plans. And I don't think he would accept being sold as a slave. We should take his knife. It looks like a good item. Meanwhile, the blonde was watching all this mockingly. This guy held tight to his knife even in death. At this moment, the man's status window appeared before the blonde. And there were only 2 scenarios where one could see the window. 1 was voluntary sharing. 2 was when the killed target was still alive. Then a short sword pierced through the blonde's chest. I'm here for revenge. The man only took a hot bath, yet became the prime candidate for a black magic sacrifice. At this moment, the man instantly killed the blonde guy. Even the 2 people in front of him doubted if he was a demon. Just as the older man was about to attack, the man had already appeared before him in an instant, killing him with 1 slash. At this time, an arrow came flying. This thing didn't even hurt at all. And looking at the terrifying man before her, the woman began to beg repeatedly. I'm really sorry, please forgive me. When you were trying to kill me earlier, did you expect it would be your turn so soon? But the woman couldn't understand what he was saying at all. Scene changes. The man put on the woman's clothes and they fit well. But it felt somewhat uncomfortable. Was it because these were women's clothes? At this time, the god laughed, saying she would respect an outsider's preferences. This isn't a preference, it's because this woman's build is similar to mine. And the other 2 men were wearing heavy armor. This bow should come in handy. At this moment, the man suddenly remembered before the woman died. Her status window appeared for a second, then disappeared, and she had God's blessing but wasn't a hero. Bullseye. Increases accuracy when shooting arrows. Is this a common blessing in this world? At this time, the god sent a prompt asking, isn't this what you should be focusing on? Where should you go next? After thinking for a moment, the man decided to head to the human village. And at this time, the god sent another prompt saying, as an outsider you should have chosen to run away back then. Scene switches. The man arrives at the village. He first takes a proper bath. And at this time, someone outside signaled for him to open the door. The man indicates he's bathing and asks him to wait. Then the man pick up the small knife beside him. Although unsure if the one outside is human, judging from their ability to communicate with me, they must be the enemy race mentioned in the blessing. So the man slowly opened the door and signaled them to come in. The visitor introduced himself as the village chief. He said he heard a traveler came to the village but didn't speak their language. Kang Han-soo, this name is unique. The man was stunned that he could see their status window. If you don't want others to see it, you should try hiding it. Can this thing really be hidden? But you don't look like an elf, more like an outsider. This village has a bad history with the elves. Because of their greed, displaced werewolves kept flooding into human territory. Many humans died as a result. Can I ask you one last question? I put this potion in your food since you started eating. Why hasn't the paralysis effect shown on you? Hearing this, the man swung the small knife straight at him. But the next second, the man freezed in place. Looks like the drug is taking effect. This is a potion I specially made for elves. You're not wrong, you're just unlucky. At this time, the gods say they've been warning you all along. Scene switches to a dungeon. People only hate werewolves, but only I know. Werewolves are also victims, and our real enemy should be those damned elves. He was once a harmless wanderer. Now he's become a dark mage who kills without blinking. And all of this will be attributed to the goddess's curse. Just moments ago, the village chief was venting his dissatisfaction with the elf race. Look at my status window, you'll discover a truth. It turns out to be a curse. Fairy tale, as the chosen one, you will become the mortal enemy of the elves. Your lifespan will be shortened, damage and hatred from elves greatly increased. Is this the goddess's curse? This is the hatred of those dead elves. So does every curse have a condition? But I'm not even part of the elf race. Actually, I don't need to explain so much to you. But after seeing this small knife, I changed my mind. Where did you get it from? The man wanted to tell him the knife was obtained from werewolves. But looking at the trembling elves behind him, the man feared he would meet the same fate. So he explained, I got it after killing an elf. I'm surprised you killed the elf royalty. I'd like to spare you, but you saw my status window. I'm a mage without magic blessings. The man was stunned. Looks like you don't know anything. Because I'm an outsider, no one taught me the rules of this world. What does that mean? It just means a lone wolf passing through the wilderness. Nice phrase, but you'll never have the chance to pass through the wilderness again. At this time, the god were silently praying, hoping the man would have better luck in his next life. The village chief waved his hand. Then an elf girl fell to the ground. I am a dark mage, you must become a sacrifice to extend my life. The elf's curse consumes my life, but I can extend it by sacrificing others. As a reward for killing the royalty, I'll make your death more comfortable. You're truly generous. But may I say one last thing? I'm happy to hear your last words. So what do you want to say? With all these abnormal behaviors of the village chief, is it to make others approve of his actions? I believe no one has ever approved of what you do, right? So can you understand me? Of course, because I'm an outsider. You mentioned before what an outsider means. Speaking of which, I guess I'm also an outsider. Because now I'm also a lone wolf. And today, I finally found someone who understands me. Then an elf male was placed on the magic circle, along with the village chief's incantation. That elf's life force was instantly transferred to the village chief. At this moment, the man noticed the village chief hadn't grown younger. That's because I'm not even human. The village chief slowly undid his clothes. Then a wolf's head appeared before the man. That's right, I'm a werewolf. The man has God's blessing. Not only can he survive unharmed in sacrificial magic, he can even completely absorb others' power. At this time, the village chief revealed the wolf head on his chest. That's right, I'm a hybrid. Isn't it unbelievable? I will use this body to take revenge on the elf race. I'm grateful for your appearance, making me realize my true identity. I am a true outsider, a wolf running in the wilderness. So are you still going to kill me? Of course, because an outsider is a unique existence. At this moment, the man deeply realized how dangerous outsiders can be. Then the village chief began casting black magic at the man. And each cast would sacrifice a life. Mr. Kang Han-soo, are you willing to give your life to me? It seems getting someone's consent is very important in black magic. Even if you don't answer, the black magic will still work. Wait, I have one request before death. But the village chief looked impatient. What else do you want? I want to see Misa one last time before I die. You mean that woman with the bow? Why do you want to see her again? Because I am her lover. But the village chief grabbed the man. Stop talking nonsense. You're not her lover. Only that man called Carl is. If you don't believe me, you can smell my scent. You do indeed have her scent. After thinking for a moment, the village chief asked him, do you have any other requests? The man said if he could survive this black magic, then the village chief would have to give him back his freedom. Hearing this, the village chief gladly agreed to his request. The next second, a powerful electric current filled the man's entire body. Damn, didn't you say it wouldn't hurt at all? Goodbye, I'll tell Misa you went to a far-off place. That won't be possible, because Misa is already dead. And while the village chief was stunned, the man had already thrown a punch, hitting the village chief directly in the face. How did you break free from the restraints? I'll tell you, but only after you're dead. The reason he could survive was entirely due to the outsider's blessing. It reset all damage the man had received. Now it's time to keep your promise. Then, the man cut down the elf girl's chains. She will now be the witness to our promise. Didn't you say you wouldn't interfere with my actions until I met Misa? Promises like that can be voided just by returning your life to you. Then a black energy enveloped him. I still suggest you surrender obediently. That's a bit premature to say. And in the next scene, the village chief coughed up blood. Then, his power disappeared completely in an instant. Is this your power? Damn it, who are you really? I'm merely an apostle of the outsider. The man just made up this story about the god. Not only did he receive the god's blessing, he could even use dark contracts, making those who break contracts pay double the price. At this time, when faced with the village chief's question, the man firmly stated he was the outsider's apostle. Hearing this, the god danced with joy, looking at the dying person before him. If I kill him at level 16, I'll gain a lot of experience. But for now, staying alive is more important. I will never forgive you, damn human. You actually destroyed my dreams. Then he launched an attack at the man. A force claw slashed down. The man immediately fell to his knees. You must be very surprised, right? This is werewolf swordsmanship, a technique I kept to deal with the elf race. Then the man stood up completely unharmed. The village chief looked at everything in disbelief. This is impossible. That was clearly a fatal blow. Then the village chief turned to run away, but was grabbed firmly by the ankle by the elf girl. Then the man delivered a swift fatal strike. I'm sorry, my daughter. Father can't avenge you. Rest in peace now. Looking at the cold corpse before him. At this time, the god sent a message. Seems he died with regrets. Then the man freed all the imprisoned elves. and called the villagers to come help solve the problem. He thought things would end here. But unexpectedly, everyone looked at him with grim faces. Then the man was cornered by the elf race at the edge of a cliff. What are you all saying? I will return someday. Then the man took a leap. This damn other world. Meanwhile, the elf princesses may demanded the man be brought to justice. But he saved us from the village chief. So what? He has the princess's knife. We can't easily trust humans. What's the point of doing this? At this time, a female counselor approached. She is revered by the elves as the Holy Sun, because she possesses infinite life. But this also made her the longest imprisoned elf. Then the counselor began her story. He could have escaped alone, yet he came back to save me. I dare say he must be coveting your infinite life. But you know what? He used black magic contracts. Called contract violation. When you violate a contract, you need to pay back double what you took. And the village chief underestimated his life, ultimately leading to his death. Though I understand your pain, I must go find him now. But your current physical condition isn't good. This is my business. From this moment on, I am no longer a female counselor. Then she turned and left. At this time, the god were silently watching all of this. Scene changes. The god were telling the man everything they saw. Then it seems this place is no longer suitable to stay. Looking at the werewolves lurking under the trees. Recalling being chased by hunters. Compared to humans and elves. I trust werewolves more now. However, there are some things I need to ask them about. The man received God's curse. No matter how many monsters he killed, he remained at level 1. Yet he could kill a group of level 6 werewolves with bare hands. Just then, looking at the werewolves lurking under the trees, there are some things I need to ask them about. The man leaped down and killed all the werewolves in the next second. Are there only 3 werewolves? How disappointing. But my body seems more agile than before. Did I unknowingly level up? But my window shows no level increase. What is this bonus though? It's gradually increasing. At this time, the god laughed mockingly. You don't even know what a bonus is? Then the god indicated this value is better when higher. Then he questioned the surviving werewolf. Right now I'm very angry at the elves. I hope you can answer my questions honestly. When the werewolf heard about elves, he became excited. Do you know how to use werewolf archery? Because my strength isn't enough to challenge the goddess yet. If I could learn werewolf archery, at least I could become stronger than now. But the werewolf said that's the power of meat. What's the connection between meat power and werewolf archery? The information still isn't complete. Looks like I need to study werewolf ecology more carefully. Scene changes. Watching the eating werewolf. The man has been observing it for several days. Whenever there's a chance, it launches attacks at the man. But they're all easily blocked by him. Are you really a level 6 werewolf? Of course, he proudly showed his trophy. He pointed to a bush, indicating there were elves there. Then devoured the rabbit in his hands completely. Immediately, a power gathered within him. Are you recovering your strength? Countless forces erupted within him. Then launched an attack at the man. Thanks to you, I finally understand the power of meat. In an instant, the werewolf was split in 2. Although our time together was short, I learned a lot. The werewolf tremblingly asked, are you also a werewolf? No. I'm human. This is a power that can be used just by controlling emotions. How amazing. Meanwhile, the god sent a blessing. The god are surprised by your changes. But the man said ordinary people probably wouldn't use this power. Moreover, if he didn't have the god blessing, he probably would have died in that sacrifice. Scene changes. The man is running through the forest. Facing werewolves encountered on the path. The man knocked them flying instantly. Although his strength had increased, he couldn't be happy at all. Because that damn goddess had destroyed his freedom. Following the god's guidance, the man returned to the village. Now, I shall punish those barbarians. He had once single-handedly saved the entire elf family, yet was hunted down and forced to jump off a cliff. And now, he was going to properly take revenge on the elf race. Just now, the man was about to sneak into the village, but found the guards were extremely strict. At this time, the god were urging the man to act quickly. Although he didn't know why the gods started helping him, the man still chose to trust them, because they aligned with his intuition. Using the small knife as a pivot point, the man jumped forcefully toward the village, then landed safely inside. Looks like I'm lucky, because no one is here. At this time, the god proudly stated, you should thank me properly. As for my next move, a soldier approached, and the man silently killed him. Feels like humans and werewolves aren't any different. Although I don't want to kill you. And I know you have a family too, but it's all because of this damn other world. Making me barely able to see my family. I won't let you step on my head anymore. Scene changes, looking at the pile of humans before him. Why hasn't anyone noticed even though so many soldiers were lost? Then how can I find the elf race? Suddenly the man thought, elves and humans both bathe alike. I should look in the direction of the bathhouse. At this time, the god was mocking the man's foolishness. Then, a voice caught the man's attention. It turned out humans had captured the elf race. Looks like things are getting more interesting. Meanwhile, an elf girl was captured while sleeping. Seems other elves were caught the same way. Scene changes to an underground prison. We can't let the elves leave here alive, or they'll take our homeland again. At this time, the leader began speaking. Let's begin. The humans kept killing the elves before them. The entire room was filled with their wailing. Moments later, they only had one target left. That was the elf counselor. She holds a high position among the elves. Killing her would surely bring catastrophic exposure. I completely understand your feelings. Yet you killed our savior. Just to keep your secret. At this time, the blonde spoke up. If you can keep the secret, we'll let you go. But do you think I would accept such threats? Even if you lie, we'll let you leave. But why do you insist on opposing us? Because elves never lie. Then we'll have no choice. We'll make sure you feel as little pain as possible. Just as the man in front was about to swing his sword, a fighting sound came through. The elf counselor slowly opened her eyes. A man stood before her. It's you. The man was just kissed by an elf, and received an elf's blessing because of it. And it was a high-level one too. At this time, a man stood before her. It's you. Looks like we meet again. But I should deal with these two people first. Whether elves or villagers. From the beginning I decided not to spare any of them. At this time, a woman was begging the man to spare her. Although he could understand the language she used, it made no difference. The man raised his hand and killed her on the spot. And another woman who tried to escape was also killed instantly by the small knife the man threw. The action was easier than imagined. Seems dealing with the big guy first was wise. Meanwhile, the elf counselor called out to the man for help, but the man couldn't understand her meaning. She displayed her status window to him. Did she show me this on purpose? I only have one blessing, but she has 3, and they're all high level. Taming slightly increases ability to tame animals, significantly increases probability of taming vigilant animals. But why did she want to show me this window? Are you called Blaze? The elf gave an affirmative answer. Perhaps influenced by the outsider's blessing, the man felt a hint of attraction to the elf before him. At this time, the god emphasized, you are an outsider, a lone wolf. I know, if I'm no longer an outsider, I will be punished by the god. But looking at the pitiful elf before him, the man still felt compassion, although he had planned to kill everyone. But if he really did that, how would he be any different from these humans? You can handle things yourself from now on. At this time, the elf stumbled and was about to fall. The man quickly caught her. Thank you, Kang Han-soo. She actually knows my name. Moments later, the man helped the elf walk out. When the man asked the god why the village was so quiet, she showed dissatisfaction. Even saying if he didn't abandon the elf, they would never speak to him again. Scene changes. The two are running in the forest. At this time, the elf signaled the man to look up. A phoenix flew overhead. Then she gestured for him to put her down. She walked straight towards the phoenix. Whispered something beside it. Is she using taming to make it her companion? Then the elf turned to look at the man, continuously expressing her gratitude. Then kissed him on the lips. This scene even shocked the god. Goodbye, Kang Han-soo. We will meet again. Then she rode the phoenix and flew into the distance. Meanwhile, the god were expressing their dissatisfaction to the man. I can't believe my first kiss is gone just like that. And at this time, they noticed the man's status window. A blessing from the elves had appeared. It's a new blessing, and a high-level one. The man, being a level 1 waste human, could make the Demon King's subordinate cry in fear, with just one look. Even make his kneel to the ground. At this time, looking at the new blessing in the window, the man was very excited. Then he checked the blessing attributes. Elf, as a friend of the elves, your youth and lifespan are greatly increased. All effects received from elves will be significantly increased. This is amazing. Because using werewolf swordsmanship consumes lifespan, but if using these two blessings together, I won't have to worry about this problem. While the god still ignored him, actually the real reason I'm happy is because I finally abandoned that elf. Hearing this, the god immediately became overjoyed. Let's go to a far place this time. At this time, an innocent werewolf was approaching. The man grabbed its neck and said friendlily, "Let me visit your home." Scene changes. The werewolf before them was howling in pain. At this time, the man had already fought his way through the werewolves' headquarters. The god curiously asked how many werewolves he had killed. Can't remember clearly, probably over 1,000. He had checked his window countless times during battle. Although a curse was added, there was something more important. That was his inability to level up. The man had anticipated slow leveling due to the goddess's curse, but he hadn't expected it to be this difficult. At this time, the god also looked worried. But what's this curse about? Slaughter. Friendly races will fear you. Probability of resistance will greatly increase. Now I've become a true outsider. At this time, a bracelet nearby caught the man's attention. These things were originally just meant to be enough to use, but because I can't level up. So wealth is my only way to become stronger. Meanwhile, a group of werewolves was quietly approaching. Looks like there are still werewolves left. Then the werewolves launched their attack. I'm grateful for your arrival. Because your existence lets me become more proficient with my powers. So are you ready to choose how to die? Scene changes. The man collected a lot of gold coins. Just as he was about to trade them, he worried about how to communicate. Hey, that level 1 human over there, have you noticed anyone who killed a lot of werewolves? Hearing this, the man grabbed the demon and excitedly said, you actually speak human language. What's your name? You look like a werewolf, but maybe we can be good friends. But he looked displeased. I'm a demon, you know. You look so refined, yet you're a demon. The man recalled the goddess once said the demon king was a very powerful being. Yet this subordinate of the demon king was so weak. You're really too rude, calling yourself a friend but punching me right when we meet. Not all demons are very powerful beings. Looking at the crying demon before him, the man felt very sorry. You're just a level 1 person. Why do you have such ridiculous power? That's all thanks to God's blessing. Stop fooling around, someone with more curses than blessings. You can actually see my window. Of course, no window can escape my right eye. The demon didn't want to become the old demon's 243rd husband. So he left home, and then encountered the level 1 waste human protagonist. He thought he could bully someone weaker, but unexpectedly was scared into kneeling, just by one look. Just now, the man was wondering why he could see his window. Of course I can, because no window can escape my right eye. But are you not planning to let go of my neck? This is how friends greet each other. Sounds like if you weren't my friend, I would have snapped your neck already. You're quite smart, because I'm a black mage, and now I'm away from home to avoid marriage. So young yet getting married? Because this body has reached marriageable age. Hearing this, the god immediately became interested, saying they wanted to know more about him. So you're still not married? Wouldn't it be too tragic to die without getting married? The more powerful a demon is, the more spouses they can have, and I left home because I didn't want to become the old demon's 243rd husband. That's really pitiful. I don't need your pity. But why are you still able to move freely? The man didn't understand what he meant. I used a potion that could paralyze even the elf race. But it had no effect on you at all. Are you really human? Is it the same potion that man used? Damn, you're making me recall bad memories. The demon immediately used magic to restrain him, but was easily shaken off by the man. What are you doing? You're simply a monster, breaking free from restraints so easily. Then the man mumbled, what's your relationship with the village chief? That's a stupid question. How can I remember all the village chiefs? I mean the village chief with a wolf head on his chest. The demon suddenly remembered. That was a human on the brink of death. I just helped him escape from the elf's curse. So, was it you who helped him? Scene changes. That man is simply a demon, actually using my body like a tree branch to swing around freely. Friend, how are you considering that request? I think it's a bit too much. Then do you want to die? No, please wait a moment. The demon used magic to heal himself. Is that an ability similar to an outsider's? So can you help me now? That's impossible, because there's a terrifying saint in the nearby city. I'm not married yet, so I can't die. But I can take you to city number 2, if it's that place I'm happy to help. Then the man agreed, because he also didn't want to encounter the goddess's subordinates in the city he was heading to. Then the demon said they needed to take the small path, because recently the Night Order started controlling the forest. Although it had no effect on the man, for him as a demon it was very dangerous. The man had no objection to this, because he also felt troubled by the language problem. The scene shifts, and the man curiously asks the demon what their name is. I am Cogmus, the 23rd child born to the 348th wife of the 14th demon king. Humans place great importance on royal status, but among demons, there is no such hierarchy. So simply put, you're just a lowly demon. At this moment, the god is urging the man to quickly leave the forest. Meanwhile, the demon discovers a footprint. It seems they're not far from leaving the forest. The blessing from the god turns out to be a curse. It doesn't just reset damage. It even resets all experience gained by the man. And when an outsider's blessing coexists with a hero's curse, the man is destined to never level up. Just now, looking at the huge footprint before them, it seems they can finally leave this forest, but they can't let their guard down yet. Because beyond the forest lies the territory of the Night Kingdom of Somas, which is also orc territory. The man is full of hope about this, wishing to encounter kind beings. Orcs are even harder to deal with than werewolves. Several muscular orcs come into view. At the same time, they catch the scent of humans. Damn, we've been discovered. Haven't you considered that your red eyes are very noticeable in the dark? I've known that for a long time. Then why don't you hide them? Because I think they look cool. Besides, they let me see clearly in the dark. It's just 10 orcs, no need to make a big fuss. Then the man leaps forward. The man wanted to have a conversation with them, but they just mocked him as a skinny pig. I'm a human, you know. Yet they continue to prattle on about this. Being called skinny pig over and over is really annoying. Seems there's no need for talk after all. The man pulls out his knife and instantly kills the orc before him. The orcs are now shocked. Now let's see who's really the skinny pig. The man kills them in an instant. You said they were strong, but they don't seem like much at all. The scene shifts. The man has dealt with all the orcs. Well brother, since you're traveling with me, you should do something. At this moment, the demon is rolling around on the ground. What's this thing? It looks dangerous. But he gestures for me to look at the sky. A white dragon appears before their eyes. There's a holy maiden riding that dragon. She's very powerful, able to hit me accurately from far away. But that direction leads to the elf kingdom. It would be trouble if the holy maiden goes there. Although we survived, running into the holy maiden is really unlucky. But we must figure out why the holy maiden is heading to the elf kingdom. But shouldn't you be worried about yourself right now? These wounds aren't fatal, but they'll take a long time to heal. So you must carry me. That's absolutely impossible. The scene shifts. The man is now carrying the demon as they move forward. At this time, the god comments that you should throw him to the orcs. The man feels terrible. The demon also feels uneasy. If others discover a human helped him, then his future marriage plans would be ruined. By the way, you're so strong. Are you really human? I'm no ordinary human, because I almost became a hero. You almost became a hero. Seeing your condition shocks me. The hero's curse is mainly used on demons. When demons are defeated by heroes, they receive this curse. This way demons can hardly level up, and revenge against heroes becomes impossible. How have you survived until now with just an elf's blessing? Well, there's also an outsider's blessing. I'm not quite clear about its effects. While I've traveled various countries collecting information, I've never heard of an outsider's blessing, though I can think of similar curses. Reset all damage received except death. This might be why you've survived until now, because this is truly a deceptive blessing. If what you say is true, then this blessing is more like a war's curse. Because no matter how much experience is gained, if your status keeps getting reset, then you can never level up. But why are you so powerful? That does seem to be the case. At this moment, the god beside them quietly sighs. The man just shouted, "There are women he," which brought about a collective attack from tens of thousands of orcs. And at this time, the god quietly sighed. He was silently recalling the past. The scene shifts. The demon's legs have fully recovered. I didn't expect you could hide your feet. Because we're about to enter the city, we need to keep a low profile. And he is indeed smarter than werewolves. But how far is the second city he mentioned? Meanwhile, a carriage is speeding along. It turns out they've been targeted by a group of orcs. So the soldiers rise up to resist. Mere skinny pigs dare to conflict with orcs. This is truly terrible. And nearby, the man is watching all of this. Aren't you going to help them? The man decides to observe for now. After all, he can't bring himself to trust everyone in this world. On the other side, the orcs have surrounded the carriage. Suddenly, they seem to smell the scent of women. At this moment, two women step down from the carriage. They immediately launch an attack against the orcs, instantly knocking the orcs to the ground. This is really quite boring. Aren't you interested in your own kind surviving? Not really, just disappointed to lose the chance for revenge. And these women seem to be elites of this world. If we get close to such people, survival in this other world would become much easier. Then the man shouts toward the sky. There's a very beautiful sow here. Because of the hero's curse, humans don't understand what I'm saying. But those orcs are different. At this moment, the demon still doesn't understand why he would do this. Appropriate danger makes things much more interesting. In an instant, tens of thousands of orcs come rushing in. This frightens them into freezing on the spot. Even the demon hadn't expected that he could use the curse to summon orcs. Now let's help them. At this time the god suggests that you should let them die. Please understand me this once, outsider's god. On the other side, they have already been surrounded. It seems I should have come a bit later. Who are you, you skinny pig? I am just a passing apostle of the god. Then an orc strikes down with his blade. The man instantly jumps away. Seems all orcs react the same way. Next, they launch a fierce attack at the man. I can see all your movements clearly. At this moment, the demon warns the man to be careful. The next second, a red orc comes rushing in, but is easily blocked by the man. How can you be careless in battle? Then the man punches straight through him. Suddenly rushing at me, really startled me. But what were you trying to warn me about earlier? Just pretend I didn't say anything. But the orc before us suddenly turned red. Is it an ability like the werewolves? Maybe I should observe it. Meanwhile, the soldiers express their gratitude to the man. And the man can understand a few words. Because in his conversations with the demon, he had made efforts to learn. At this time the god expresses that this isn't his way, suggesting the man should kill them all. But the man asks the god to be patient. Next the man throws the red orc's severed hand toward the orcs. Please raise your hand if you can transform into a red orc. If you can't, then forget it. The man had his first kiss stolen by an elf, but received a C-rank blessing because of it. You should know that even marrying an elf only gives rank E. You can imagine how important the man's status is. And he hadn't expected this blessing would help him so much. Just now, the man threw the severed hand forward. Please raise your hand if you can transform into a red orc. If you can't, then forget it. The scene shifts. The man has slain all the orcs before him. Is this okay? Look at their expressions. Only to see them filled with fear. Did I go too far? Think of something. Then the demon steps forward slightly. I am the mage Cogmus. He is the swordsman Kang Han-soo. And from his unique name, it's clear he doesn't understand Western languages. But he bears the hero's mark. Indeed, but he also has a C-rank elf blessing. You should know that even those who marry elves only get E rank. Imagine how much the elves must trust him. So the elf taking my first kiss actually turned out to be beneficial. But I'll be misunderstood, and it's all because of that damned goddess. Then the demon begins translating, expressing apologies for doubting their savior. It's good to have someone help translate. Am I finally going to gain others' trust? At this time, the god expresses dissatisfaction and states that betraying the god's apostle only leads to death. Gaining others' trust isn't so easy. The scene shifts. The man sits alone by the campfire. This all happened because of your good intentions. Although you're not angry anymore, I should be happy. Because of this deceptive blessing, resetting all status means I can never level up. At this moment, a girl approaches. I remember she's called Julia, a noblewoman from another world. But the translator went to sleep. What should I do? She takes out a small knife and infuses it with blue energy, then gestures for the man to demonstrate as well. Alright, watch this. The man extends his index finger, and red energy appears before them. This sight leaves the girl shocked. But then she seems to realize something. She immediately kneels before the man, but he completely fails to understand the girl's actions. He thought she was disappointed by how small the energy was, so he placed it on the small knife. But unexpectedly the girl turns and leaves. This series of actions leaves the man completely bewildered. Women's thoughts are truly hard to understand. The scene shifts. So these are all hunters hired by the women? That's right. At this time a soldier asks why the man is so strong despite being only level 1. Is there some special training method? The demon immediately translates this for him. Actually, you don't need to answer, as this is inherently an impertinent question. And the body is everything to a hunter. When it comes to such questions, they can be quite thick-skinned. You mean hunters are a bit shameless? Don't misunderstand my meaning. They're just trying hard to survive. Then why do they become hunters? Because when you have a hunter's blessing, you can gain experience by completing quests. The experience you mentioned, wait. This method isn't included in that curse. And what blocks my experience gain is only hunting and achievements, which means I can gain experience through other means. What are you talking about? How do I become a hunter? I finally found a way to become stronger. The man's first registration as a hunter earned him a D rank blessing. You should know that ordinary people can only get F rank. And this was all thanks to the help of the noble ladies. Just now, the man finally found a way to become stronger. The scene shifts. The man is very happy about arriving in the city. But the next second he feels disgusted, because there's a terrible stench. That's to be expected. Going several days without bathing during transport is normal. And you're in no position to talk, since you're covered in orc blood. That's a bit harsh. You're not even human. But speaking of which, as soon as we entered the city the hunters all disappeared. No need to worry about them, they've just gone off to have fun. There's even fruit in this other world. You don't even feel hunger. But before you eat, you should consider the two noble ladies. That's true. And to better repay us, they're letting us stay at the same inn. The man expresses no objection, but at this time the god shows great dissatisfaction. But when are we going to the Hunters Guild? Though before that I suggest you take a bath. The scene shifts. A slime is slurping at the clothes. It can actually remove dust from clothes. I like this thing. Don't get any bad ideas. And now you should put it down and go change clothes. As gentlemen, we should wait for the ladies to arrive. And just in case, I've prepared your clothes too. The scene shifts. Do I really need to change clothes? And looking at the demon flirting nearby. I really hope he gets punished. Meanwhile, the two ladies have also arrived at their destination. Sorry to keep you waiting. The demon immediately acts as translator. It's fine, we just arrived. Though they had actually been waiting for a long time. Then the man expresses wanting to eat first. The demon also relays this. But he says, eating can wait a while. Let's go where Kang Han-soo wants to go first. It seems there are good people in this other world too. The scene shifts. Damn. I didn't expect to get stuck on a piece of paper. If I had known, I would have learned more words. While the demon takes the chance to mock, don't feel embarrassed. There are plenty of hunters who can't even write their own names. Just write according to this. But because of the hero's curse, even copying is difficult. A moment later, the man finally signs his name. Then a purple light shines from the window and adds a D rank hunter blessing. Getting D rank on the first evaluation, you should really thank those two ladies. They staked their own ranks to vouch for your strength. A moment later, they come outside, and the girl hands the man a sheet of paper. This is your first task, kill orcs. It's a task to suppress their breeding by reducing their numbers, and your reward depends on how many orc noses you bring back. This is great. Not to mention having these two ladies as bait. At this time the god curiously asks if this will be another massacre. Of course not, this will be destruction. Despite being a level 1 human, his strength rivals that of an A-rank hero. Just one person can eliminate all the orcs in an area, even becoming someone the orcs fear. And at this time, the man received his first task. Could this be another massacre? Of course not, this will be a disaster. The scene shifts. The long-haired girl is killing an orc, but gets pinned down. At this moment, a fireball comes flying and instantly knocking the orcs down, but it doesn't seem to cause major damage. At this time another orc is thrown over. instantly killing it. I've seen all kinds of elite hunters, but I've never seen anyone quite like Kang Han-soo. Watch as Kang Han-soo frantically kills orcs, just like a war god returned from hell. A moment later, watching Kang Han-soo absorbed in battle, Leisha asks the man to take a proper rest. At this moment the man stands frozen. I'll tell my friend to rest for a while. Thank you. Why is his energy so abundant? Killing so many orcs without even breaking a sweat. I'm surprised you're the first to call for rest. Stop pretending, I can see your legs shaking. But Kang Han-soo is really amazing. Yes, although he says it's thanks to his blessing. No, I mean his swordsmanship. As a mage you might not notice, but the sword techniques he uses are incredibly crazy. One small mistake would destroy himself, yet he uses such dangerous techniques all day. How is this possible? I'm not sure either, but I can only conclude he's a genius. Meanwhile, the demon tells the man to rest for a while. So the man takes out a book and starts studying. At this time the long-haired girl says she's reached level 15. Looks like the gap between us is getting bigger. Because of this blessing, higher ranking makes leveling easier, and higher levels lead to better results, but correspondingly, dropping in rank also means losing the original benefits. Leisha, this time my goal will be B rank. Won't that be too difficult? It would be very hard if it was just us, but this time is different. That man looks like he's doing the quest, but he's actually very mindful of our safety. So you've been observing him carefully. And at this time, the man snaps the book shut. Did he finish learning so quickly? He shouts, "You're stronger than me, you go first." The surroundings fall into silence. As a mage and scholar, although this person is a bit stupid, he has successfully piqued my curiosity, but I should teach him how to speak first. Meanwhile, the holy maiden discovers the man's backpack. I'll give you 3 days to figure out what this is called, but don't let any students find out. However, the existence of this backpack is clearly the goddess's mistake. Even that goddess can make mistakes. Then a message comes from subordinates. Massive deaths occurred in the hunter village. Local residents believe it's revenge from foreigners. Could it be that hero? Pass on my orders. Thoroughly investigate this foreigner's identity. On the other side, the man sits quietly by the campfire. His companions have all fallen asleep. The man pulls out a book. I must learn this language. At this time the god looks with interest at the pictures in the book. Do you like these illustrations? The god expresses great liking. What about other gods? The god says it doesn't know. I need to know if there are other gods nearby, so we can avoid meeting them. The god points in one direction. Most gods are in that direction. Is that direction around the temple Cogmus mentioned? There should be evil goddess's holy maiden subordinates there. Looks like we need to speed up. With insufficient strength, I should try to avoid meeting her. The man eliminated all orcs in the area. Even killed a group of bandits. But his level remains at 1. And all this is due to the god's blessing. Just now, the man believed that with insufficient strength, they should try to avoid encountering them. At this time the god is making a fuss about wanting to look at the book. The man gently closes it. Let's look next time, we're surrounded by humans. Having disturbed the god's enjoyment, they should be punished. Then the man wakes the demon. Stay quiet, we're surrounded by humans. Indeed. Then the man wakes both girls as well. At this time, countless lights appear in the bushes. Then people slowly emerge. The leader walks forward. What is he saying? He wants you to hand over all the spoils from that area's orcs. He also says the 2 men will definitely die, but if the noble ladies surrender they'll be spared. Who do these guys think they're looking down on? Being transported to another world was irritating enough. Now I have to face discrimination. I will make sure to send you all away properly. But there are more people than expected. If I have to protect them during battle it will be very difficult. Looks like I can only use this method. The man shouts at them. There are very beautiful sows here. And the next second they launch their attack. This is a good opportunity. Then the man steps forward and swings his sword at the leader, instantly forcing him back. Before they can react, a group of orcs join the battlefield. The man smirks. Now is the time to gain double the experience. The man dodges with a swift movement. These people are too weak. At this time a group of people attack the man. The man kills them with just a casual sword swing. Then the leader tries to sneak attack. Swings his sword and hits the man. What a shame, this was my favorite cloak. And under his disbelieving gaze, the man punches straight through him. Now let me see. The mage and swordsman are doing well. Everyone's quite busy. At this time the god expresses only wanting to quickly finish and see the book. The scene shifts, to everyone's surprise. The man returns to town carrying a huge bag of orc noses. Is this enough? If not for them I could have gotten more. Aren't you afraid of working them to death? This is proof of completing your quest. They say thank you very much. Because of hunting with you, they gained 2 whole levels. And thanks to you I also increased in level. Thank you so much. You little demon are already level 20. Let me see how much experience I gained. It's still 1. What's going on? At this time, the god nervously looks away. Was it you? God. She was once Asa the god revered by thousands. Now she's become like a rat in the street, hated by all. She had helped humans countless times. but in return received endless insults and complaints. Before life appeared, she had already been born into this world. And one day, life discovered her and called her God. They yearned for divine help. So she became Asa God, because life needed divine help. From then on, more and more gods began to appear. They started helping life in their own ways. Under their grace, life progressed. But life couldn't accept the existence of different races. So a struggle began, as time passed. One day, Asa God found a dying person. Do you want to live? The man desperately wished to live. So the god agreed and gave him help. Under the god's help, the man returned to infant state. The god found him a family, and felt proud of all this. Time passed. When Asa God came to the village again, the infant had become a youth. The god happily asked if he still needed help, but received only abuse in return. I curse you, you ruined everything. I could have saved him. And the god could only apologize. Then hurriedly left this place. She didn't understand what she had done wrong. She only wanted to help humans. Later, more and more humans requested the god's help. The god responded to them all. But without exception, they all complained about the god. The god really didn't understand this. Hundreds more years passed. The world underwent earth-shattering changes. So the gods began making new rules: heroes, demon kings, curses, blessings. All gods adapted to these rules. Except for Asa God alone. But one day, Asa God once again encountered a plea for help. Do you want to live? Even if you lose everything. The man gave an affirmative answer. Asa God was happy, because someone needed her help. With a green light descending, the man instantly recovered. But at this time, he noticed his level had returned to 1. Asa God said she had warned you. The man said as long as he was alive it was fine. As for level, it was just starting over from 1. But later he discovered that because of this blessing he could never level up. Although the god saved me, I shouldn't complain about you. But I still want to give you some advice. Please don't give blessings to anyone else in the future. Because this is a curse more terrible than taking life. Only then did Asa God realize she had no reason to exist. Because no one would need her. Until that day, when the man's call awakened her again. She once again found a dying youth. A youth with the hero's curse. Asa God saved him out of curiosity. And to prevent him from complaining after discovering the truth, she renamed the blessing to Outsider. And now, Asa God guesses. The man must have discovered the blessing's secret. The god saved the pitiful man. And bestowed upon him divine blessing. But the man didn't know this was a curse more terrible than taking life. Just now, the god guessed the man might already know the truth. That's really terrible. I shouldn't have wasted time dealing with those orcs. The god looks surprised. Aren't you angry? The man just shouts about wanting to buy a new book. At this time the god is quietly praying. Are you praying for me to die quietly again? Of course not. Then what are you praying for? That's a secret. The scene shifts. They arrive at the library. Since I can't level up, I want to find a powerful weapon. But you seem to be reading fairy tales. You won't find weapons there. And when the noble ladies left, they mentioned that treasures might be found in the sea. What if there are ruins preserved until now because they're too dangerous? Don't you think that's interesting? But those ruins are guarded by this country's knights. Are they strong? I can guarantee they're stronger than you are now. Then the man goes to a prairie to get some air. Is it really impossible to level up? I thought knights were just for show. Is there really no way at all? At this time a voice catches the man's attention. Damn skinny pig, hand over everything you have. I'm in a very bad mood right now. Disappear from my sight immediately. Can even speak the orc language. Then the orc attacks. Really asking for it. The man punches the orc in the chest. You don't understand how painful it is to lose your dreams, not even having ruins to explore. In this other world without dreams or hope, what should I do? The man punches again and again, venting his inner dissatisfaction. There are ruins. The man freezes. I know where the ruins are, so please stop hitting me. There are huge ruins nearby. Why didn't you say so earlier? Dear friend, could you lead me to the ruins? The orc leads the man forward slowly. Have those ruins existed for long? I only know they were there before I was born. Although I'll guide you in the right direction, someone as strong as you can't enter. A moment later they arrive at the destination. But there's nothing in front of them. Then the next second, ruins suddenly appear before their eyes. At this time the orc is relieved to finally shake off that damn skinny pig. This is the first time I've seen ruins on such a scale. Why are you here? Didn't you lead me in? But only those below level 9 can enter here. Then there's no problem, because I'm level 1. At this time several arrows come flying. The man dodges sideways. A skinny pig actually entered our territory. Could this be an orc village? At this time the orcs keep mocking the man. Be careful, this man isn't simple. He has very strong abilities. Orcs, could you please make way? Forget it, let's just kill our way through. The man casually killed 300,000 orcs. And unexpectedly received a new curse. And the ghosts of the orcs he killed will endlessly torment him in his dreams. Just then, a group of orcs blocked the man's path. Could you orcs please clear the way? Well, I guess I'll just kill my way through. The man suddenly leapt into the air. This orc pig can actually fly. At this moment, the god of heaven was silently praying for the 100,000 orcs. Soon after came the orcs' screams of agony. The scene shifts, the orcs were searching for the man's whereabouts. In no time, the man had already killed more than half of the orcs. This really is endless. Damn, just how many orcs are there? But all exits are sealed, how can I get out? At this moment, the orcs discovered him, and launched an attack against him. How disgusting. But the pursuing orcs got stuck in the wall. Now, let's see who has the last laugh. Then came waves of screaming from the orcs. You look down on me for being level 1, seems like you're nothing special either. Let me see what changes there are to my status. Slaughter has leveled up to rank C. Is this a new curse? Great slaughter, the probability of those you kill appearing in your dreams increases. Nightmares will continue until the dead depart or submit. Does this mean the orcs I killed will bully me in my dreams? Although I can choose not to sleep, don't you think it's too much to add another curse after the curse level up? I never thought the price of saving humans would be a curse. However, the man couldn't understand what they were saying. Damn, I should have brought Cogmus with me. Hey you, that orc pretending to be dead, I know you're still alive. Do you know how to get out of here? The entrance and exit of the ruins are different, and the only exit is in the middle of the ruins. Then the man headed to the middle of the ruins. Is this the exit he spoke of? But there's nothing special about this place. Do we need to use magic to get out? And at this moment, a green light descended. Was it you who destroyed our homeland? Answer my question. Is this an orc too? What a grand appearance. Answer my question, human. Is this orc stronger than my current self? Yes, it was me because they blocked my path. You killed 300,000 orcs just for that reason? So there were 300,000? That took quite some time. I am the guardian deity of these ruins and the orcs. Humans who know the secrets of the ruins cannot leave here alive. So you're the guardian deity, that's even better. Since there's a guardian deity here, that means there must be treasures. The man instantly launched an attack. Two powerful energies collided. He's completely different from other orcs. The next second, the man's arm was forcibly cut off. You're nothing special after all. Damn, the man barely dodged a fatal blow. You're quite impressive, managing to dodge a fatal blow in an instant. I didn't expect to take such damage from just one exchange. Don't think this is over yet. What an impressive guardian deity. The man's severed hand instantly returned to its original state. Are you immortal? You could say that. That doesn't matter, because I will trap you in these ruins forever. That's quite a bold statement, but what should I do now? Meanwhile, the Holy Maiden learned about Kang Han-soo from the students. Kang Han-soo, a human who refused to become a hero and was sent back to Earth by the goddess. But if people found out this person wasn't actually sent back to Earth, then heroes' trust in the gods would plummet. At this moment, a benevolent god was silently watching the Holy Maiden. Why hasn't this matter been resolved yet? It's the goddess, I'm sorry, god of heroes. Due to the blessing, I know the whereabouts of all heroes, but I can't find Kang Han-soo. Could it be that other gods are deliberately interfering? However, the most important thing now is to prevent anyone from discovering this. At this moment, Asa God was silently observing everything. After learning of their plans, she quietly left. On the other side, the man fighting the guardian deity fell once again. How long do you intend to struggle? You ask me until when? Of course until you die, you damn orc. The next second, the man launched another attack, only to be knocked down directly. The scene shifts, the man was studying attack patterns. Should I move like this in this place? Just then, a greeting came from behind. Hello. It's Bruce, they are humans I rescued from the orcs, and he is now the temporary leader of these people. Do you need something? He started introducing a woman to the man, but was scared away. You don't need to mind what he said. Now you can handle things yourself. Then the man went back to studying attack patterns. The scene shifts, that should do it. The strategy for dealing with the guardian deity is complete. At this moment, the man noticed the woman. Did she sleep here all night? At this time, the god of heaven said not to keep stealing glances at her. But the urgent matter now is to defeat the guardian deity. Your Highness Asa, please watch carefully. The man leaped and delivered countless strikes. The entire movement was fluid. How's this swordsmanship? The god of heaven expressed great surprise. This is the swordsmanship I enlightened yesterday. How is it? Isn't it impressive? With this swordsmanship, I can now bully that damn guardian deity. At this moment, the man's status window emitted purple light. His blessing level increased. The outsider's blessing rose from F rank to E rank. The blessing level increased. Thank you my respected Lady Asa. But the hero's curse rose from E rank to C rank. And the rise in curse level means that damned goddess has discovered that I'm still alive. Well then, we don't have time to waste here. The scene shifts. The man appears before the guardian deity again. He states that this time he won't run away. I'll trust you this once, come up, let me show you around the ruins. There won't be traps waiting for me up ahead, right? A great warrior would not stoop to using such tactics. Please follow me. The man was very surprised. What is this place? Why is it so vast? This is the ancient training ground for heroes. Orc heroes? No, for humans who weren't chosen by the gods. You humans were too arrogant. So we took this opportunity to occupy this place, leaving only these ruins untouched. Then why keep these ruins? That was to restrict strong beings from freely coming and going. But as long as you're here, our city can never be rebuilt. So you must die here. You talk big. However, before that, I have a question. Are there any treasures here? There are only starter weapons prepared for heroes. What? That damned goddess. Can it be solved with starter weapons? I think that's impossible. At this moment, the orc suddenly launched an attack. The man unleashed his newly created swordsmanship, a shadow flashed by, countless attacks followed. You have reached like this in just one day. Wait. Are you looking for the exit? I will never let you leave here alive, die. The man ducked down to dodge. I've been very curious about that spot since yesterday. He kicked the orc flying. Instantly, a hole opened behind the orc. Then it sucked him in, so this was the exit. How nice it would be if we could solve problems without fighting, because I never thought I could win against him. Since I can't level up anyway, there's no need to work so hard, just need to get the treasure. The scene shifts, the god of heaven excitedly points to a spot, indicating the treasure is there. Could there really be treasure in such a desolate place? The man skeptically approached. Is this the so-called treasure? He picked up a longsword. The god of heaven said this is an entry-level holy sword. A very ordinary decorated longsword, but covered with holy aura. But why would a holy sword be thrown here? The god of heaven said only heroes can lift holy swords. Then the holy sword in the man's hand became unbearably heavy. What's going on? Is it because I'm a cursed hero? The man immediately broke the sword. Since I can't use it, other heroes shouldn't be able to use it either. Then, he broke all the holy swords on the spot. Suddenly, the man found the holy sword in his hand wasn't heavy. While the god of heaven explained, this one is defective. This angered the man who broke the holy sword again. Now only this sword is left. Isn't it defective now? The god of heaven expressed admiration for your logic. But then the man received a curse from the holy sword. Just for breaking a few swords, was it necessary to give me this curse? Holy sword, the maker's blood and tears have strengthened all holy swords around you. You will find it difficult to destroy them again. But is this really a curse? To strengthen a defective item. However, I don't think the maker ever imagined a hero would damage holy swords. Now, only one curse-strengthened holy sword remains. Next we need to leave here first, although I remember the exit is here. But how should we open it? Damn human. The man looked to the side puzzled. A figure charged straight at him. So it's the guardian deity, but why have you become so thin? It seems you've lost most of your power after leaving the ruins. But I won't let you return here quietly. The orc leaped into the air. Get out of my way. Perfect time to test the holy sword's power. The man slowly drew the holy sword. A horizontal slash passed through, instantly cutting off his left arm. Looks like it's your turn to lose an arm. Damn human. Everything I've lost, along with the lives of 300,000 kin. Today will be repaid with your life. Then I shall wait and see. Then the man swung his sword with all his might, killing him on the spot. It seems in this day's time, your strength hasn't improved at all. At this moment, however, the god of heaven said it wasn't over yet. The orc instantly returned to his original state. But before he could speak, the man pinned him to the ground. Is it over now? But the next second, the orc transformed into liquid and wrapped around the man's hand. What's going on? Right, if I throw him in this state into the exit, he will surely die. But then the orc immediately surrendered, saying he would do anything as long as he wasn't thrown out of the ruins. You can do anything? Of course. Didn't you say you wanted to get out? I can move the ruins entrance and exit near the holy sword, but only heroes can lift the holy sword. You mean this? Yes, that one. You're actually a hero. Let me see your status window. Then the window appeared. Green Guardian. But why do you have a hero's curse? That's because killing heroes gives you this curse. Then, what is the ruins curse? Ruins. You will be forever bound here. All actions damaging the ruins are forbidden. It's like a contract. Why? Because here, I can become immortal. But I will become the final opponent for testing new heroes. So you're not the guardian. I'm just the orc's guardian, protecting their homeland at the same time. But I still lost. I know a demon who often cries too. Aren't you going to leave here? Great hero. Didn't you say you wouldn't let me leave here? I hope you'll leave quickly. Then I demand to take that group of people with me. Although I can't let humans who know about the ruins leave, I cannot refuse the hero's request. Then he shouted, we're going home. At this moment, an exit suddenly appeared before them. This feeling of déjà vu, wouldn't something go wrong again? Respected God of Heaven, please check the exit for me. But the God of Heaven expressed dissatisfaction with this. Please show some mercy to your poor apostle. The God of Heaven happily responded, allowing it just this once, but never again. At this moment, the humans nearby looked worried. The God of Heaven said the orc is very safe. But how can I return here? You just need to say a word to the holy sword, I can hear it. Well, I'll trust you this once. Then, a golden light shone. When the man opened his eyes again, he appeared in an unfamiliar environment. Then the man noticed the holy sword hanging on the wall. Wait, all of you go back. Asagod, are you sure this is a safe place? The god of heaven said it's temporarily safe. You mean it will become dangerous later? That will be very dangerous. Should I leave this place first? But what's that? The man just discovered. His backpack was here. Meanwhile, the holy maiden arrived at the underground prison in the Hunter's Village. I'm here to investigate the massacre at Hunter's Village. I heard there's an elf senator imprisoned here, is that true? Absolutely true, holy maiden. That's quite a troublesome matter. Flame Guardian Blaze. Though her combat power isn't strong, her trained animals are powerful. Especially the phoenix that made her become the Flame Guardian. We cannot tolerate conflicts between humans and elves. However, the victim stated they won't pursue this matter further. But what did that stranger look like? That person is already dead. I'm asking what he looked like. He had short hair, looked similar to the visiting heroes. Alright, I understand. Then the holy maiden dismissed the man. Holy maiden, that undead must be him. Although I don't know how he managed to survive, could it be he received a god's blessing? Even with a god's blessing, a level 1 couldn't possibly defeat werewolves. And the 2 heroes who died earlier are the best examples. But all gods are with us. Who could have given him a blessing? But if the backpack's owner and the undead are the same person, won't we be in danger when the heroes discover the truth? Don't worry, for now other heroes are still under my control. At this time, the goddess expressed great unease. Don't worry, at least you haven't been discovered yet. And I've thoroughly handled all information related to him. Then, another message came, saying news about the elimination competition had leaked. I knew about that already. Don't you think this makes things more interesting? However, that hero named Zhang Meiyan has been unusually active lately. I'm really looking forward to her performance. On the other side, the man returned to the city carrying a large bag of spoils. That damn orc, actually sending me to such a dangerous place. When did you come back? The man was curious why the demon hadn't left. I was planning to leave yesterday, but missed the opportunity because of someone's appearance. Did you meet the Holy Maiden? That's impossible, I would be dead if I met the Holy Maiden. He is the first heir to the Night Kingdom, Arthas. The third strongest existence in the entire kingdom. And the noble ladies told me the prince wants to meet you. You must be careful with your words, otherwise my demon identity will be exposed quickly. He's a holy knight, because he's under the Holy Maiden's protection. But that has nothing to do with me. Didn't I tell you the prince wants to meet you? But I can't even communicate with them. At this moment, urgent knocking interrupted their conversation. 2 noble ladies approached. I hadn't even notified them. Seems they care about you very much. At this time, the god of heaven expressed dissatisfaction. Are they coming to ask for my help in leveling up? The noble ladies expressed how much they missed him. They thought you left without saying goodbye, feeling very sad. But why did you get another curse? Because I went hunting, and even entered some ruins. I must separate from you in this city, otherwise I'll never be able to get married. As for translation, we can buy a slave who's proficient in languages. The scene shifts. The 2 noble ladies brought the man to the prince's mansion. A man stood by the window. Kang Han-soo, you're here. This guy is too handsome. Thank you for the compliment. I really wanted to meet you, who both ladies praised highly. You can actually speak my language. This is a language blessing. Any prince can communicate with all species. So you're the Prince Cogmus mentioned? Although I'm a prince, you don't need to be too formal. Then the prince bowed to the man. You not only defeated the orcs but also saved 2 noble ladies. For this I express my deep gratitude. This was just what I should do. However, I'm very curious about your strength. So I request a sparring match with you. You mean now? Of course not. Let's talk while we eat. The man was gobbling the food. However, what's with the hero's curse on you? I don't know if you'll believe this, but I once saved an elf from a hero. So that's where the elf blessing came from? But do you remember what that hero looked like? I'm very sorry, because I hit his face right away, so I don't remember. It's all made up. How could I remember? It's okay, we just need to investigate, and we'll know soon. Although I don't know what will happen, I apologize to that friend. Speaking of which, recently, the orcs on the plains have vanished without a trace. Do you know the reason? Could it be because I killed too many orcs? Of course not, individual power is limited. It was I who eliminated them completely. Hearing this, the ladies were extremely shocked, while only the man calmly replied, maybe it was you. You're really interesting, I want to know more about you. The scene shifts to outside. Let's end today's party with a match. However, I'm very curious, how strong are you as a level 1? Thank you for giving me this opportunity to spar. There's really nothing special about it, but just to be safe, better not show the holy sword. This is actually an elven sword. I'm just showing it briefly. It would be too dramatic to use weapons for a simple match. So let's use this instead. A red aura covered his fingers. This brought shocked looks from everyone. This is really surprising. A technique I mastered through countless injuries. You use it so easily. Actually, I'm the same. Although he's level 1, why is his strength so powerful? I've decided to gift you my spare sword. I allow you to attack first. Then I won't hold back. But I should use my full power against him. The man raised his sword. A red power kept gathering. Take this. With the man's slash, a red energy surged into the sky. instantly causing a huge impact. Bad, I think I used too much force. That looks like an exit. I should run away first. I'm really sorry. Why was my reaction so slow? My sword felt so powerless under his strength. Kang Han-soo, what an interesting fellow. At this moment, the ladies came forward to ask if the prince was all right. I'm fine. The world really is vast. It seems he was surprised too, running away immediately. He probably feared hurting me, but I want to apologize to him. Would you help me? He should be at the inn. Let's go check first, then come back to notify you. I seem to have found that excitement from when I first learned swordsmanship. Meanwhile, the holy maiden discovered someone had been in her room. There must have been an intruder here. You all go out. Don't come in without my permission. The next second, the holy maiden froze in place. The room was completely empty. Even the holy sword hanging on the wall was gone. Other things could be explained, but even the evidence of the goddess's lies had disappeared. Then, the holy maiden summoned the goddess. Kang Han-soo's backpack is gone. Someone entered my room and took it. You should have destroyed it earlier. At this time, the goddess expressed extreme dissatisfaction. What should I do now? We can only leave it to fate. Is this your answer? Stop asking me for solutions. Why don't you look for them yourself? Then, the goddess impatiently left. Damn, just one Kang Han-soo gives me a headache. Who could it be this time? At this moment, the communication crystal beside her gave the holy maiden an idea. Perhaps I can seek help from the prince and the elven kingdom. The scene shifts. Prince, how's the investigation of the mass orc disappearance going? Now reporting the investigation status. The plan to have heroes hunt orcs might be difficult to implement, because there's currently no sign of orc population growth. And I once asked an orc. He said their habitat was occupied by demons. So it was demons? Yes, but this information hasn't been verified yet. Then it seems we need to strengthen our surveillance of demons. However, I have a suggestion. Meanwhile, the man was hurriedly returning to the inn. I must leave here quickly. If I'm caught, I'll be executed on the spot. Don't worry, escaping is easy for me. You actually went there, damn, what should I do? The man muttered to the holy sword. Open the door, orc. The next second, a huge hole suddenly appeared before him. Is this high-level space magic? I thought you couldn't use magic. I don't have time to explain. You quickly come out from the city's north gate. I won't wait for you too long. Damn fellow. There was actually a hero who attacked elves. Don't know his appearance or name, except that he injured his face. I do remember one hero. His name is Han-yu, an annoying fellow. Could it be him? To ensure this hero doesn't cause major trouble, I suggest putting him under surveillance. I agree, but please give some compensation to those cursed civilians. A hero's mistake is the holy maiden's responsibility. Although I should do it, I'm in a hurry to go to the elven kingdom, so I can't spare the time. I understand. I will compensate on your behalf. Then, the holy maiden hurriedly left. I'd like to make that man my subordinate, but weapons of this level probably won't work. Just then, the man returned to the ruins through the hole. Then told Bruce he needed manpower to move these goods behind him. Hero, are all these people okay? From now on, they will help me move goods, so you can't kill them. But this isn't your personal warehouse. You just need to help me deliver things to the exit. This is the first time I've felt angry about my own weakness. I'll take that as a compliment. The scene shifts. Cogmus was walking in the forest. Cogmus. Where did you suddenly come from? Let's run away quickly. But before that, don't you need to explain something to me? Right now I need to stay as far away from the holy maiden as possible. Is it because of that hero's curse? Yes. Then it seems we need to head north. This way we can separate from you faster. What's in the north? There's the largest slave market in the western continent. We need to find you a translator slave. However, you surprisingly didn't run away secretly. That's because you took my luggage, leaving me without even a horse. The man hugged the demon. What exactly are you doing? Isn't this way faster to reach our destination? Unbelievable, I'm actually being hugged by a human. The scene shifts. The two were enjoying breakfast. Although not as good as at the prince's place, it's still passable. I've never heard of magic that can cook. That's because you've seen too little. Alright, hurry up, let's continue after eating. Stop joking, we're almost there. Then, the two slowly walked forward. Moments later, they arrived at the western continent's largest slave market. This is really a beautiful city. But they don't need to check us? That's because the city has high traffic flow. If they check thoroughly, the city would collapse. However, I won't run away for now. You should return my luggage to me, right? That won't do. You need to help me find a slave first. Then, the man shouted at the holy sword, please send over the brown package. Next moment, the small package was truly transmitted over. Is this a magic sword? It looks like the sword is guiding magic, not you using magic. Can I take a closer look? The demon grabbed the holy sword. But this looks just like an ordinary sword. Immediately, countless lightning bolts struck the demon. Damn, is this a holy sword? I didn't know this holy sword had anti-theft features. Actually letting a demon touch a holy sword, I knew you giving it to me so easily wasn't well intentioned. But is there no problem with you lifting the holy sword? It's a defective holy sword. I don't think the sword is the only thing with problems. Say that again. I'm sorry, I was wrong. The scene shifts, my dream is shattered. I wanted to be a hero who saves slaves from merchants. You're really boring, can't you think of something normal? Follow me. There are 4 main types in the slave market. Humans, elves, dwarves, and mermaids. But what affects their prices isn't skills, but their level. Follow me. I know several places that sell high-level slaves. Just then, Cogmus gestured for the man to follow him. He knew several places that sold high-level slaves. The scene shifts to a room. Do you need defensive or high-level slaves? We need a slave with the language blessing. The level isn't important, what matters is having the language blessing. But the man expressed that he'd prefer a slave who could travel with him. Could such a slave really exist? The demon then relayed the man's words, and received an affirmative response from the owner. Such slaves actually existed. Then they went upstairs. Why don't these slaves run away? Because they have the slave's curse. Just look at their status window. Slave, loss of all rights, receives corresponding punishment when disobeying master's orders. The owner casually introduced, this is the slave you're looking for. It was actually a demon. Truly unbelievable, as demons becoming human slaves were extremely rare. I knew it, you like this demon, don't you? Only demons would satisfy these conditions, don't you think? So Cogmus immediately expressed his desire to buy this slave. But looking at his empty pockets, he fell into deep thought. A moment later, the man bought her. But why did you become a slave? Because I wanted to prove my love to a man, so I became a slave. What an fascinating story. Cogmus expressed his thoughts. But the female demon showed obvious disgust. Master, please order me to eliminate this bug who dares to pity me. Then, the man asked, where should we go now? Don't you need to examine me carefully first? No need, because I've already seen everything through your status window. Diablo Roca, level 27, possessing the following blessings and curses. Suddenly, Dia started trembling. What's wrong with you? Please don't misunderstand, this is an effect of the slave's curse. If you dare give her any strange orders, I absolutely won't let you off. This was followed by Dia giving him a beating. Why don't we go look at other slaves? The scene shifts, having bought many due to their low price, these were just cheap labor. The man was seen constantly arranging slaves to transport goods. At this time, Cogmus pulled the man aside. Are you planning to leave now? No, I've changed my mind. I want to travel with you all. But the next second, an arrow struck him directly. Although I really wanted to kill him, it seems someone beat me to it. Being ambushed in broad daylight. The world really isn't peaceful these days, right? The man knocked down the attacker with one punch. But this caused a huge disturbance. Soon soldiers came to arrest them. I think we should run away now. You're a slave so it doesn't matter, but this demon can't be caught by them. Do you want me to kill him? Or should we try escaping first? The scene shifts to the outskirts. How long are you going to sleep? You weakling. I was just careless. Is it so difficult to admit your own weakness? So the demon was left speechless. What a busy day indeed. At this moment, Dia's demon hand attacked, but was caught by the man. You didn't think I had no defenses, did you? Damn it. Another attack came immediately after. The man countered with a punch. And in the next second, Dia's left hand broke on the spot. Dia couldn't believe it. Are you really just a level 1 human? If I weren't, would you have let your guard down so easily? You're nothing but a human. Then let me show you my true power. What followed was a fierce attack. Even Dia had trouble defending against it. But soon she found an opening and launched her attack. Looks like you got careless too. This should hurt. In an instant, the man's left arm was torn off. This level of damage means nothing to a demon. Quickly order to remove my restrictions, then I might consider healing your wounds. However, the man just smiled contemptuously. This little damage doesn't even itch. Then Dia instantly recovered her injuries. Since both sides have healing abilities, let's fight until one side dies. Is that an order? At this time, Cogmus expressed his desire to help Dia, but was carried away by the man immediately. You're actually struggling to crawl outside. This man is quite remarkable, making people dislike him so much. The man then launched an attack at him, but was blocked with a raised hand. I hate traitors the most. But aren't you a traitor? Though I'm a slave, I never swore loyalty to you. Then, two massive energy forces collided. Damn, the recovery speed can't keep up. What kind of thing is this man? I'm just getting started. Then kicked towards Dia. You can take quite a beating. Then Dia suddenly spread a pair of wings. I'll kill you before you can fly. But then Dia stepped on his fist and leaped powerfully into the sky. It seemed she had reached his limit. Then this will be my final strike. It was also Dia's final strike. Just when the man thought victory was his. The next second, a scene distracted him. Then the man took Dia's final strike head-on. When he came to his senses, he realized he had lost. At this time, the deity was expressing dissatisfaction with him. If Master wakes up, please give me a new set of clothes. Then the man gave her a set of clothes. Actually, I lost this fight. You're really strong. If it were that demon, I would have torn him to pieces long ago. Besides, I think you deliberately lost to me at the end. Don't you need to show your loyalty to me since you lost? Show loyalty to a human? That's impossible. Because that would become a demon's lifelong shame. But I can give you a hug as compensation. Meanwhile, the Holy Maiden felt very frustrated about the beast men who were about to go extinct. So you found me because of this? Not entirely. The elf councilwoman was seen sitting before them. Speaking of the forest, I really want to know what he's doing now. So you want me to find out who the culprit is? Yes, can you do it? Though not who I'm looking for, but possible. This little one will be helpful. Forgive my directness, but does he really have that ability? This is a special slime. But what clues can you provide? This is the crime scene. Please find the thief who broke into my room. The slime instantly turned golden, then emitted a golden light, finally concluding. The intruder escaped through the holy sword on the wall. The worst-case scenario, could it be a hero? It seemed the Holy Maiden had realized who did it. I'm very grateful for your help. Is there anything I can help with? This time I plan to enter the Magic Academy. I hope to get the Holy Maiden's help when the time comes. Do you want to become a science teacher at the Magic Academy? Yes, since being imprisoned I've realized my own lack of strength. I tried gaining experience through hunting, but found it doesn't suit me. Because I'm strongly against fighting, so even though I've survived for over 1,000 years, I'm still only level 12. And I can gain experience through teacher's blessing. This is the best choice for me. I understand, I'll do my best to help you. The scene shifts to the man arriving in the city. I can't believe that demon actually left. Just wait, I absolutely won't return until I become stronger. At this time, the deity suggested the man abandon this female demon. She's nothing but a female translation machine. And to express dissatisfaction, the deity chose to run away from home. She actually ran away. Hey God, are you still there? Meanwhile, the deity was silently watching everything before them. Suddenly, a notice nearby caught their attention. Tournament elimination matches, champion prize, holy sword, excellent performers can gain opportunity to enter Magic Academy. At this time, the deity was immersed in their own fantasies. Meanwhile, the man arrived at an inn. He silently observed the outsider's blessing before him. The blessing is still here, so it means the deity hasn't abandoned me. At this time, a server came forward asking if help was needed. But the next second, they ran away at the sight of the man's slaughter curse. So that's why. At first it was annoying, but now it feels quite nice. However, now seems to be the active time for slave thieves. I must complete my revenge on them before leaving the city. At this time, the deity returned nervously. You came back sooner than I expected. The deity proudly stated they completed a lonely journey. Yes, you're the best. But Asagod, could you go somewhere with me? The deity curiously asked if he had driven away the female demon. She's sleeping over there. Then where exactly are we going? I think I should give those who ambushed me a farewell before leaving. Where should we go? I haven't decided yet. Then, the deity urged the man to go to the academy. Why should I go to such a place? Let me deal with those attackers first, then I'll think about it. At this time, the deity started acting unreasonably, constantly urging the man to agree to their request. Help me with something first, then I'll consider this matter. If I help you, will you go to the academy? I'll just give it some consideration. What help do you need? To catch a big fish, we must find bait. The scene shifts. Thank you for buying so many slave. At this time, the deity asked if the man needed more slaves. It's enough. Although these slaves are cheap, their levels aren't very high. The deity expressed that levels don't matter. What matters is the heart. At this time, an arrow shot towards the man. He blocked it with his raised hand. Your attack methods are too old-fashioned. Are you the group that ambushed me today? At this time, a leader poked their head out. Then all members of the gang stood up. Are you the leader of this group? Then the leader leaped forward. At this time, the deity was urging the man to go to the academy. I'm busy now, we'll discuss this later. The deity expressed hope that this action would be quick. Of course, I'll resolve this quickly. The man was seen using hand chops, swinging through the crowd. In less than a moment, he had defeated them all. At this time, only the leader remained. Not running away was a smart move, I'll spare your life. But the leader was so frightened by everything that they ran away. The man kicked out, knocking them unconscious on the spot. The scene shifts. The man brought the thieves before the soldiers and received a large bounty. At this time, a slime nearby caught the man's attention. Why aren't they cleaning that bone? Could it be true that slimes don't eat rare materials? Then it seems this bone has something special about it. At this time, the deity urged the man to quickly head to the academy. So what's at that place? Why must I go? You'll know when you get there. But I don't even know where the academy is. At this moment, a voice called out to the man. He said something unknown. Could it be that my injuring the prince has been exposed? At this time, the deity indicated he just wanted to buy the bone in your hand. He planned to give this bone to his son at the academy. The deity kept emphasizing the academy. So the man fell into momentary contemplation. You want this bone? Fine, but I have one condition. I want to go see the academy too. Want to go to the academy? At this time, the deity was eagerly waiting for him to agree. But the next second, He immediately expressed refusal. The deity stomped their feet in anger. The man had already guessed everything from the deity's attitude. Do we need to discuss this further? At this time, Dia had arrived at the man's side. When did you get here? You actually abandoned me while I was injured. You're so cruel. At this time, the knight discovered that before them was actually a demon. So the two became hostile. Is the person before me a knight? Yes, Dia quickly translate. Is this demon a slave? Why else would I wear this collar? At this time, the deity urged the man to quickly negotiate. Alright, let's discuss the academy matter. The deity expressed they couldn't wait any longer, so left alone. Why did you leave again? Asa God. And the knight expressed that entering the academy was impossible no matter what. At this time, a strong aura arrived. What's going on? The knight tremblingly said, this is impossible. Then a giant hand appeared in view. It was actually a dragon. Weak humans. Disaster strikes again. This time I will destroy the Holy Maiden and all heroes. But the next second, it froze in place. Why has my level returned to 1? Who did this? The man chuckled. Who do you think it was? Of course it was our respected Lord Asa God. Then the giant dragon descended upon the city. This is a real dragon, but with this level of intelligence, how could it be disaster level? You're quite calm. Because even if I can't win, I can always run away. Who is it? Who dares to joke with my level? Could it be a hero? Is it that damned Holy Maiden? The dragon breathed out a huge flame, instantly leveling houses to the ground. At this time, the knight had already taken the initiative to attack. The deity indicated you need to resolve this quickly. You mean that giant dragon? The deity suggested showing the knight your true power. Then the man pulled out a holy sword. This is actually a holy sword, you have quite good taste. Cogmus still needed to touch it to know. Please don't compare me to that demon, but are you a hero? No, actually this holy sword is defective. At this time, the dragon was roaring. Hero, come out now, or I'll level the city to the ground. A group of archers launched an attack at the dragon, but were easily blocked. Your levels are far below mine. Then came a dragon's breath. At this time, the knight commander stepped forward, swung a blade to block it. Actually able to block his attack, seems he's not simple. Of course, he's a knight protecting the country. So I can easily take his attack too, right? The man joined the battle. The dragon suddenly slammed down with a palm. The knight commander dodged sideways. At this time, the dragon unexpectedly discovered it could level up through attacking. I must kill him before his level gets too high. At this time Dia asked the man who he was talking to. The person who made that dragon angry. Dia looked confused. I need to prepare for attack. You go attract the dragon's attention first. Then Dia flew towards the dragon. A high-level demon appears here, then become my experience points. Dia shot out a wave of light, directly piercing through the dragon's wing. But this enraged the dragon, instantly raising flames all around. At this time, the deity was cursing at the man. Be quiet, I'm concentrating all my power. Then the man gently swung, and charged straight out. Taking advantage of the dragon's attack opening, the man launched his attack. A shadow flashed by. The dragon's head was cut off on the spot. That was a perfect slash. What was that? How can it still talk after being beheaded? You're just a level 1 human. Actually using me as bait. Thank you for your hard work, Dia. This is a huge shame, being killed by someone who isn't even a hero. Since it happened, there's no need to feel shame. I will swear on my soul, you have brought me great shame. I curse you. A red light shone, gaining new curse, Dragon's Rage. Another curse? I heard dragons with strong pride rarely admit defeat or curse others, but this is my first time seeing such a situation. This is too unreasonable. At this time, the deity was dancing happily. Getting retribution is only natural. But I killed a dragon bringing disaster to another world. Why should I receive a curse? But what is this curse's effect? Dragon's Rage. When your life is in danger, the angry dragon will attack you. So this means whenever it's most dangerous, this curse will descend? And Dia beside was secretly delighted, because she received a new blessing. Dragon's Rage. When your life is in danger, the angry dragon will come to protect you. Could yours be a blessing too? Why did everyone get blessings? Only I received a curse. A moment later, the man used slimes to decompose the dragon and obtained rare materials. This is really good stuff, but if I take it I'll be discovered quickly. At this time, the knight commander was receiving people's admiration. In the evening, the knight commander expressed that he owed the man his life, and there were still rewards not given to you. But then the man expressed that his reward should be distributed to the masses affected by the disaster. Then Dia began translating. Our master looks down on your petty things, so he's giving them to you human. But why does your tone sound off? I've already well conveyed your meaning. Looking at the sky, the man suddenly noticed something wrong, seeing white energy constantly gathering around. Could this be Dragon's Rage? Then a white giant dragon suddenly appeared before them. It looks much smaller than the previous dragon. And this was because anger towards the man caused the dragon's soul to materialize. This really is another world. However, a mere bone dares to look down on me. Meanwhile, to select the most outstanding hero, the elimination tournament officially began. Thank you all for supporting the heroes. Now let's witness their achievements. Rumor has it Cui Jiangming is the strongest hero. How ignorant, Zhang Meiyan is obviously the strongest. At this time, the red-haired girl was very curious. If other heroes were in crisis, what would you do? Of course I would help them. Not hesitating at all, heroes really are strong. I think that boy would say the same thing. As the Holy Maiden announced the start of the competition, various heroes began their matches. Cui Jiangming was the first to run to the carriage. He already knew the competition item was capturing beast men, so he had prepared a carriage at the city gate. At this time, the black-haired girl grabbed the red-haired girl, using the sprint blessing to move quickly toward their goal. Sprint, move at high speed toward the destination. Note, cannot slow down before reaching the destination. I didn't expect Cui Jiangming and Lu Bao had already left. I thought we were quite fast. But we really can't fall behind now. Meanwhile, the Holy Maiden received information. In the northern city of the Night Kingdom, the Red Dragon King Alcazar has appeared. Is it really the Dragon King? Are you sure? After comparison, it matches the Dragon King the Holy Maiden killed 100 years ago. Although I killed it with a hero back then, I still remember. But he clearly died back then. Could a deity have revived him? Impossible. Because all deities are watching this competition. Could it be to increase difficulty for the heroes? But the heroes aren't there. Could it be hero Kang Han-soo? There's a deity by his side preventing goddess exploration. Could it be him? And I must go there before the losses expand. But Holy Maiden, the Red Dragon King has been killed. What are you talking about? Although the news needs verification, the Dragon King's aura has already disappeared. Then it couldn't be the Dragon King, because no one could defeat the Dragon King alone. Forget it, we'll discuss this matter next time. Now concentrate all attention on the elimination tournament. On the other side, Han Yu wanted to ride the carriage for free but was refused. At this time, Julia asked if the hero didn't need to participate in the competition. Han Yu used Peek to observe the woman but found nothing. Peek, observe all conditions of the enemy. Enemy's weaknesses and secrets are likely to be discovered. Damn, she has a curse so I can't see anything. So he activated another blessing special. In an instant, Julia offered to give him a ride. I'll get you to your destination as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the city suffered devastating damage. Master, what's going on? Two bone dragons were fighting back and forth above the city. Damn, what's this situation? Meanwhile, a bone dragon suddenly pounced at the Knight Commander. With just one strike, the Knight Commander was severely injured. And at this time, his blessing activated. A green-eyed bone dragon suddenly appeared. Then two bone dragons began to fight. At this time, the man still hadn't figured out what was going on. Dia killed the bone dragon before her with one strike. Master, this situation is really strange. Meanwhile, the fighting bone dragons crashed in front of Dia, knocking her unconscious on the spot. And this just happened to trigger Dia's blessing. Another bone dragon soared into the sky. If this continues, the city will be destroyed. Then let me resolve these problems first. The scene shifts. The man had already dealt with all bone dragons. So many bone dragons appearing together is truly unheard of. But you really don't know about this blessing and curse? Could it be because I have the outsider blessing? Every time I use that power, it consumes life force. Then triggers the dragon's rage curse. Then the outsider repairs my life, thus forming a cycle. Although the curse has limited activations, if my blessing activates, the count will reset. Looks like I'll have to control myself from now on. Meanwhile, the slime decomposed large amounts of rare materials. Dia, all these materials are for you. Although it feels like a lot of trouble, when I think about how rare these materials are, I feel very happy. At this time, the Knight Commander suddenly sat up from the bone pile and said something very seriously. But the man couldn't understand what he said. He's thanking you for defeating the bone dragons and sincerely inviting you to be a guest at his home. So the man readily agreed to his request. At this time, people around started rushing towards the rare materials. Looks like we need to leave quickly, or there will be many people coming. Then let's hurry. You look very happy. That's because we got many rare material. The scene shifts. Kang Han-soo, this is my hoe. I didn't expect there would be such a place outside the city. For a knight this is already quite modest. A huge house came into view. Is this already considered modest? But why did you come with me? I'm here to translate for you, to prevent you from making mistakes. While the two were chattering, someone in the house was already secretly watching them. Just now, the invited man came inside and ate heartily, while Jia beside asked if the man had understood. So, he wants me to accompany his eldest son to school, not the youngest? The youngest already has a companion. It's another child who needs accompaniment. In other words, he hopes you can take good care of that child and accompany him to school. And at this time, the man couldn't understand what they were saying. Jia translated for this. They hope you can become his son's good friend and a trustworthy companion. So the man decisively agreed. And the deity also expressed great happiness about this. Then Dia said they want to tame the master. This must be your random explanation again. I just omitted the complicated process. You're distorting the facts. Then Dia shouted at them. My master says your son is very rude, not even showing his face when guests arrive. I've decided to tear off his face. while the man looked confused. Because they were already trembling in the corner. What are you saying again? This is an excellent demon's translation. The scene shifts. Jia, your translation is too casual. Both husband and wife were scared into a cold sweat. But do you know what Austin Academy is? It's one of the 4 major academies, established by humans to resist monsters. They mainly teach how to defend against monsters, but they are ultimately humans. No matter how hard they try, they are very weak beings, but they finally gather together to become beings pursuing peace. And at this time, a man suddenly burst in and loudly berated them. Do I need to translate this for you too? No need, I can roughly understand his meaning. It's just that I promised his father I would discipline his son well, and I know how to make him a good student. The man's fist came flying, directly hitting his face. And before he could react, another punch hit his abdomen directly. Then a punch sent him. He flying out the door. You should fulfill your responsibility as a son. And looking at the child on the ground, the man recalled his earlier self. Damn, what an unpleasant memory. At this time, the man realized he had gone too far. So he hurriedly went forward to check for injuries. And at this time, the child suddenly woke up, but was scared and ran around everywhere, while Jia just pointed and knocked him unconscious. What do you plan to do about this? Should we bury him? That's absolutely impossible. The scene shifts. The man calls for knights and others to heal him. A green light descends, and the child immediately recovers. But upon seeing the man's face, he scatters and runs away in fear. It seems you haven't come to your senses yet, so the man decides to frighten him a bit more. Then his body emanates an intense aura. The next moment, the dragon's wrath curse activates, and a skeletal dragon appears above the man's head. It immediately swallows him whole. Just as the child is shocked by this, the man shatters the dragon's teeth with a single punch. Let's become good friends now. Meanwhile, the saint who just returned home feels physically and mentally exhausted. Because sponsorship support continues to decline, it's very difficult to support warriors with just the temple's power. As expected, even though times have changed, things remain the same. At this moment, the crystal communicator receives a call. The school principal has been waiting since morning. But hasn't the warrior admission already ended? However, she says there's something important to discuss with the saint. There's also good news. The incident with the Red Dragon King has ended. Although the city suffered heavy damage, there were very few casualties. This is quite a relief, but let's discuss this matter later. Please connect me with the school principal. Then, the principal appears in view. Long time no see, how has the saint been lately? Not well, because I've been too busy. For someone who serves as humanity's shield to be so active, it seems everyone can live in peace. If you're just going to say these things, I'm hanging up. The principal then reveals their intention. This year they have high hopes for many new students. For this reason, they plan to open the underground ruins for research with the warriors. The underground ruins? How come it sounds like you've already broken the seal? You've guessed correctly. But the saint falls into deep thought. The underground ruins are where the gods once overused their powers in the past. This is why treasures excavated from the ruins possess unnatural powers. However, great dangers also lurk there. But for the current warriors, they urgently need prey to promote their growth. Then it's decided, we'll head there together after the elimination tournament ends. She then hangs up the crystal communicator, while the saint falls into contemplation. How many of those warriors will survive? Meanwhile, Risha meets warrior Han-yu through Julie's introduction. Thank you for helping me meet the legendary warrior. Then Risha checks his attribute interface. To have so many blessings at just level 6, could he be the warrior chosen by the gods? What do you think of this true warrior? If I hadn't met him, I would have been quite shocked. The scene shifts. They are hunting orcs. Although we took a shortcut here with the warrior, I can't guarantee no one else arrived first. At this moment Risha discovers several slimes. It seems the orcs are nearby. Judging from the wounds on the orcs' bodies, there should be a mage and a swordsman nearby. At this time Han-yu notices the sound of fighting coming from not far away. So the three of them quickly rush over there. And when they take a close look, they realize it's actually the class president. Just moments ago, after the warriors' tireless efforts, the elimination tournament finally came to an end. Sorry to keep all warriors waiting. Now let me announce the warrior rankings for the elimination tournament. Meanwhile, the man is heading to school with the child. But you really hate school, don't you? Although I'm not particularly fond of it either. At this moment, Dia states that her level is too high and shouldn't be allowed to enter school. Since you're now my slave, I can simply bring you into school. But wouldn't it be very dangerous for me to enter school? Yet the god shows no concern about this. But you should tell me now, why do you want me to go to school? Even if your reason isn't satisfactory, I won't run away because of it. While the god simply states that you'll know when we get there. Moments later, they arrive at the school. After a series of checks, they were finally allowed to enter. But the brother appears very distressed. To return to this place that's like hell. At this time, a nearby statue catches the man's attention. This place is more like a training camp than a school. The school has many rules. Please pay attention to them. The man then agrees to his brother's request. And the girl nearby also expresses that she'll take care of him in the future. Selenai, level 9, blessing, F rank, warrior, F rank, curse, noble level 1. It seems this lady is a noble. Moments later, the man finally arrives at his destination. Then he goes to the admission office for consultation. It's surprising that you're only level 1, yet passed all the school's tests. I wonder if you've had any contact with elves? The man only remembers being wounded by elven arrows. This is quite interesting. Although your blessings and curses are chaotic, the principal still gives the man a passing stamp. An elf will be taking up a position at school this year. I hope you can become a pillar of the school. The man expresses that he will do his best. If you have any needs, I will try my best to fulfill them. The scene changes. The man who finished the entrance test is unsure where to go. So should I head to the dormitory now? While the god suggests asking the statue. But why suddenly ask the statue? Then the man is dragged by the god to the statue's front. Are you sure you want to ask this statue? Meanwhile, the previous two people encounter the man. So they introduce the statue to the man. He was an ancient hero, the founder of this school. And the brother wants to become someone like him. To think even the god pays such attention to him, it seems necessary to investigate when there's time. At this moment, a figure calls out to them. You're new students, right? Quick, help hang up the banner. But what's written on it? Of course, it's to welcome the warrior's arrival. There's actually a warrior joining the school. While the man is very shocked. The warrior you're talking about couldn't be. Hey god. Should I run away now? Because the arrival of classmates means other gods will come here too. But the god shows no concern about this, saying she hasn't detected the presence of other gods. Then praises the statue before them. This is a very awe-inspiring statue. Meanwhile, a nearby student shows great displeasure at the man's behavior. So they immediately want to teach him a lesson. Looking at the two walking away, the woman beside him tells him not to worry. The scene shifts, the two arrive at a secluded place. And the sound of arguing nearby catches his attention. This turns out to be the school's blind spot. The school cannot detect anything that happens here. In the next second, the man suddenly grabs his throat. This suits me perfectly. He has been holding back for quite some time. Then a transmission portal suddenly appears before him. He then pulls out a small hammer from it. Although doing this at school isn't quite appropriate, he still strikes him down with one blow. Even the two bystanders watch this in astonishment. Facing the aggressive red-haired woman, the man is both fierce and a few words, instantly controlling her in his grasp. Then friendly suggests to her, please ask her to step aside. And next comes the enrollment ceremony for the new student Kang Han-soo. Well then, please take care of me from now on. The scene shifts, the man is now discussing with Jia. Next, they will sneak into the school at night. Moments later, they arrive at a bar. Then walk straight to the blonde guy. The man states that he was referred here by his seniors. The seniors he mentions are the two he just taught a lesson to earlier, though he can't reveal this now. Then he states his purpose. He wants a way to enter the tutoring class without being noticed. But the blonde shows no interest in what he says. Instead, Jia catches his attention. Just as he opens his mouth wanting to keep Jia there, the next second, he gets kicked to the ground. Then everyone rushes towards her. But in less than a moment, they're all knocked down by her. And now the man realizes he forgot to stop her actions. The scene shifts, the two secretly sneak into the school. Even the man hadn't expected the operation would be so simple. However, Dio is curious why the man would come here at such a time. Because he needs to investigate that statue. Phodonix was actually a companion of the warrior. But because he set his sights on the warrior's woman, he was permanently banished. And harboring hatred for the warrior, he swore allegiance to the Queen of Night, later became a vampire, and successfully kidnapped that woman. Surprisingly, Dia knows these legends in great detail. However, the god claims there's a hidden clue in the statue, but the man hasn't found anything. Then Dia indicates she might know. There's no path between Phodonix and the kidnapped swordswoman, yet not even a single obstacle can be found. Moreover, Phodonix faces the swordswoman, but she's looking elsewhere, as if she's trying to guide us somewhere else. So they proceed in the direction the swordswoman is pointing. In no time, they arrive at an empty space. The ground depicts scenes of a nearby lake. This puzzles the two, as they can't conduct a wide-scale search. At this moment, Dia suddenly recalls a legend about a mermaid who became a statue waiting for someone. Then Dia points in a direction. It seems that's the mermaid statue we're looking for. Could this be the legendary mermaid? Dia immediately wants to destroy it, but is stopped by the man, as this is a very important clue. Since they arrived here following the swordswoman's gaze, the man deduces there must be something hidden in the mermaid's line of sight. So he curiously examines the area around the mermaid's gaze. But the next second, a golden light appears. It turns out the ring in the man's hand is responding. While Dia explains that this is classic magic used by mages when proposing. Then a blessing suddenly appears before them. Forgiveness, seeing your merciful face, they will want to confess their sins. At this time, the god looks quite displeased. But the man is relieved, as he finally received a blessing. The next second, they're surrounded, as free entry to this place has long been prohibited. And judging from the high-level demon beside the man, they determine he must not be an ordinary person. Meanwhile, The forgiveness blessing on the man activates. He slowly apologizes to them. Then they forgive the man's actions. Afterwards, they leave this place directly. The scene shifts to the school's opening ceremony. They also welcome a new teacher. The legendary Flame Guardian, Elder of the Elf Kingdom, Miss Blaze. Looking at this familiar face before him, the man falls into deep memories. Then a wave of unpleasant memories surfaces. Meanwhile, the phoenix bird stares intently at the man. Did he just make eye contact with it? Faced with such a beautiful elf as their teacher, everyone present becomes excited. Then the host announces it's time for the principal's speech. She mutters that this year's learning objectives are very heavy, and warriors will soon enter the school. Hearing this, everyone immediately starts discussing. Then the principal announces the next task. He will divide students into upper and lower classes. The rules are very simple. Students will duel until only half remain. With her command, the scene falls into chaos. And the man clearly seems quite satisfied with this handling method. Now it's time for him to show his skills. With a roar, everyone present scatters and flees. All of you get to the lower class. At this moment, the god prays for these unfortunate students. The scene shifts. The man successfully enters the upper class. And they can choose to study either guard or magic courses. They also selected a prince named Rechazó as class president. Speaking of class presidents, the man suddenly falls into thought, wondering what that guy is doing now. Meanwhile, Cui Jiangming, who won the Elimination Tournament Championship, is now going through the award ceremony. He will receive the legendary Holy Sword. Then he shouts, "I want to become stronger." The next second, he's sucked into a transmission portal. And now he's completely confused, because he has no idea where he is. Meanwhile, an orc mutters that this is a city called Akrora in the orc ruins. And according to the rules, warriors summoned here must begin training immediately. On the other side, the sword arts teacher refuses the man's request to attend class, because he has no warrior-related blessings. Then he's kicked out. Speaking of warrior blessings, the man suddenly remembers something important. This is a blessing that almost everyone possesses. Then he concentrates power in his hand. The next second, he blasts the door open with one punch. Although he doesn't have a warrior's blessing, it shouldn't matter as long as he can use sword arts. Left with no choice, the teacher finally agrees to the man's request to attend class. But he's curious about how to obtain a warrior's blessing, yet they explain it can be obtained through drug injection. Hearing this, the man instantly feels angry. These people are truly too lazy. Meanwhile, the class president makes a proposal to the man. He wants to bring the man under his wing, and can provide him with a constant supply of drugs. But the man refuses. Yet the class president, who should be angry about this, becomes respectful due to the man's forgiveness blessing. And now the god expresses anticipation for their future. Then the teacher takes out a dragon tooth. He says this is something he bought with 10 years of savings. Even the man hadn't expected to see this thing again in such a place. The scene shifts. Everyone finishes their day's courses. Now they're discussing today's events. But the man can't stand the class president's style, thinking he should have sent him to the lower class earlier. At this moment, a figure appears behind them. It turns out to be the student who was earlier sent to the lower class by the man. It seems interesting things are about to happen. Moments later, the man follows them to a place. And they had been waiting for a long time, then begin to berate the man. If it weren't for the man sending them to the lower class, this child wouldn't have received such treatment. Now they want to get revenge on the man. And now the man is already furious. Do you think your life would be better if you used tricks to get into the upper class? Those damn guys. They've completely messed up his delegation. Meanwhile, he pulls out a bone club from the transmission portal. Next, he will avenge them. At this time, the big guy still wants to mock the man, but gets thrown dozens of meters away with one strike. And he states that he still has class to attend. Why don't you all come at once? However, in just one encounter, the sword art prodigies from two great kingdoms are both knocked down to the ground. Now the blonde finally realizes something's wrong, while the man appears very composed. Just as the blonde wants to launch an attack, an ominous aura begins to emanate from around the man. The next second, countless demons rush towards the blonde. This is the effect of the man simultaneously activating two curses. While everyone is terrified by this, a figure flashes by, and the man instantly resolves everything. But he's curious why the curses suddenly activated. Meanwhile, the blonde is already rendered incoherent by the demons, then falls straight to the ground. But the man is very confused about this, as no demons actually appeared here. Moments later, the man awakens the child lying on the ground, and signals him to take responsibility for this entire incident. After all, they wouldn't believe that a mere level 1 student could knock down so many people. Then he friendly suggests to the big guy, "Those guys lying on the ground are counting on you to take them back." Left with no choice, the big guy finally agrees to the man's request. With things perfectly resolved, the man now feels extremely happy. However, speaking of which, this bone has been covered in blood since the moment he took possession of it. And this shouldn't be something that orcs have used before, right? After all, he claims he wouldn't provoke the natives. On the other side, the two are currently training. But clearly warrior Cui Jiangming is no match for the orc god. Compared to the orc he met yesterday, it's a completely different level of existence. However, to become stronger, he must definitely get through this training. Meanwhile, the orc suddenly launches an attack at him, and he can only leave here after defeating it. The next second, it suddenly exerts force, instantly making the warrior cough blood. Then it tells the warrior, only when getting beaten can you grow faster. Followed by a fierce headbutt. Taking advantage while the warrior hasn't recovered, the orc suddenly throws him into the air. Next, what awaits him will be a full power strike. Meanwhile, Cogmus now appears completely dispirited. He doesn't understand why Jia would stay with the man. Moments later, many goblins are welcoming Cogmus's return. But just then, he senses an ominous energy. This kind of hair-raising aura. Why would it appear in such a place? Why would the saint come to such a low-level hunting ground? The scene shifts, everyone is busy hunting goblins. But the reckless performance of the two makes the saint greatly disappointed. Fortunately, the other warriors are quite capable. In no time, they clear out all the surrounding goblins. In the evening they discover traces of demons, and decide to report this to the saint. Meanwhile, the mage is using fire magic to burn numerous monsters. Because monster ambushes mostly happen at midnight, which is quite dangerous for inexperienced warriors. Although training is good, it's better to be careful. On the other side, Cogmus is now listening to his subordinate's report. So, what's the current situation? Then he slowly explains, stating that the current situation is somewhat bad. But among the crowd, only the saint is a difficult existence to deal with. Handling others should be a sure thing. Then he suddenly recalls, could they be warriors? Like that man, they came here to hunt monsters. If it weren't for that damned saint, these novice warriors wouldn't be worth worrying about. After a moment's thought, he orders all goblins to gather. Next, it's their turn to attack. The scene shifts, the goblins are now destroying their supplies. So they fight back with all their might. While Cogmus watches all this from afar. Now it's our turn, damn novice warriors. The next second, a blue goblin shouts at the monster crowd. Then all the goblins launch their attack. And they immediately judge that goblin must be the monster leader. Then a warrior chases after him relentlessly. But they don't know this is all part of Cogmus's plan. To better command the goblin army, he developed this form. Then he lets out a shout. Instantly, a deafening sound fills everyone's ears. While everyone is stunned, a large army of goblins rushes toward them. The scene shifts, after fighting day and night, everyone is exhausted. Even food supplies are running low. If this continues, their situation will become very dangerous. For this, they must quickly resolve these problems. Meanwhile, the magic teacher brings a message that the saint has uncovered all information about the blue goblin. He is a demon, and the demon hiding behind the rocky mountain is the real culprit. On the other side, the saint now believes they absolutely cannot be careless. After all, they've already lost a warrior because of this. Although they have the skill to resurrect bodies, it's a heavy burden on the spirit. And warrior Zhang Meiyan has no memory of what happened before death due to severe injuries, but warrior Lu Baola remembers everything clearly. Even the saint deeply admires her spiritual strength. Moments later, the saint arrives at a wasteland. Then her hands emit a golden light. Countless plants spring from the ground. The next second forms an entire orchard, solving the food supply problem. And next, only dealing with that troublesome demon remains. Meanwhile, Cogmus feels very angry about everything before him. Because he spent vast resources to cut off supplies, but was foiled by the saint, and now he has no countermeasures. Looking at the two slaves standing before him, he comes up with a plan. Perhaps saving these two humans might give him a chance of survival. And the most urgent thing now is to preserve his life. Although saving humans would be scorned by his kind, there's no other way now. So he signals the slave to summon the goblin elder. Next, he will issue his next order. On the other side, a warrior is very happy about their level up. But the next second, two goblins pounce towards her, then vanish into thin air. Meanwhile, the man signals the big guy to handle these well, then turns to leave. Just then, the ring in the man's hand suddenly bursts with golden light. Following the light's guidance, they arrive at an empty space. Just as the man feels suspicious about this place, two attacks of ice and fire come straight at him. Then he receives a scolding from the big guy. But because the man has the forgiveness blessing, he instantly becomes respectful. And he states this is a magic training ground exclusively for warriors. Meanwhile, a student in the field recognizes the man and greets him. But he's very surprised at the man's progress. Because he's becoming increasingly able to master the language here. But she's curious about why the man came to the magic training ground. Could it be to learn magic? And the man just casually replies a few words, because he's more curious about what's hidden in the training ground. But the woman's next words leave him at a loss. Because she offers to teach the man magic. Then makes an appointment to meet tomorrow. And turns to leave. While the man only cares about what's hidden in the training ground. But clearly the god doesn't want to tell him everything. Meanwhile, the class president walks toward the man. Then immediately states his intention. To become the strongest existence in the academy, he wants to invite the man to team up with him. And considering that teaming up can solve many troubles, The man then agrees with a mischievous smile. However, he should find an opportunity to ask Dia how to hide his status window. The scene shifts. Dia initially didn't want to easily tell the man this method. But constrained by the slave curse, Dia tells the man the method. To observe other status windows or hide your own window requires a blessing. So which blessing is easiest to obtain? After Dia's explanation, the man doesn't understand what it means. At this time, a student mutters. Not only blessings can achieve these things, some curse effects can also hide windows. This catches the man's interest. Meanwhile, Dia suddenly recalls a curse very suitable for the man. That is the curse of greed, a curse that has absolute control over property, including status windows. And its price is the man's life. Hearing this, the man immediately becomes interested. This is exactly what he wants.